Hey, I'm Nashi.
I'm Rezlar.
And I'm Frosty. Welcome back to the Value Pack.
Hold on, I have to gear check Nash right now. Alright, that is some bull jabber. Dude, he CC'd me out of dance. What's happening? Rezlar!
People look at you like you're crazy, and they refuse to admit that it's pay to win, and just scream that it's pay to convenience! It's pay to convenience!
Big money, big money, big money,
Big
money!
money!
Oh shit, we got it! We fucking got it! And welcome everybody to another episode of the Value Pack. Now, once again, I feel the need to clarify this is not the 3-year anniversary special. That's going to be going down sometime in early to mid-January once we've had a bit of time with the classes. So that's not this episode, and it's probably not going to be the next episode either. Possibly the one after, but join the Discord, and that way you'll kind of know the timeline of what's going on. Probably announce it in there once we're actually going to plan on doing that. No guest today. It's just the boys here, and Ashley's got to take off a little bit early because he incorrectly gave a Christmas present to his wife that turns out it involves him.
Yeah, I debated myself.
Yep, debated himself. We're gonna be talking about the reworks today. Kind of first impressions, what we're thinking about, what we feel like, because it's been out for 5 days, 4 days.
By the way, he accidentally got himself a spa day for Christmas.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, basically.
He accidentally got himself a spa day. So yeah, rework discussion, first impressions, all that good stuff. No guests, just the boys today, going to be hanging out, having a good time. But first, got to thank our lovely patrons: Hawaiian Eyes Issues, Jeremy Johnson, Calahad, Melt on Your Mouth, Minaria, Slytech, Talasec, Septum, thanks, and Wavesy. Appreciate you guys, as well as all of our patrons and all of our Twitch subscribers on our individual Twitch channels, which you can find in the description of the video or MP3, whatever you're listening to this on. Woo! Guys, hello.
What up?
What's up, man?
So yeah, rework talk today, first impressions, all that stuff. We definitely haven't been sitting here talking for 30 minutes already. So I guess the first thing we have on the list here is our own classes first. What are our opinions on our own classes? And Nashi, since you got to take off early today, I guess we're starting with you. What's your first impressions of the Meiwa? Is it as good as you'd hoped? Is it as bad as you expected? What's your thoughts?
So, to be fair, leading off with this, I have been busy all last week because of holidays, naturally, and had a lot of stuff to do. So I haven't had a large amount of time to really spend on it. But I do have the past experience with on Global Labs and kind of already feeling it out prior to going live with it. But I'd say overall, this was definitely a buff across the board for both kits. And pretty much every aspect of the game, PvE, PvP, and both 1v1 and large scale type scenarios. There are some caveats where some things may not have been improved or they're a little bit more complex, like, for example, the arrow play. But there's arguments to be made where even those in some cases are buffed as well. It just depends on how you look at it. And a lot of players might disagree with those kinds of things. It's just, it is what it is. Certain players are going to find it more annoying and tedious, whereas others are going to see it as a benefit in some capacity. But overall, yeah, they're huge improvements. Awakening is extremely strong. It's so much fun now with all the different skill connections and options you have. Not that it didn't have a lot before. It's just it feels even more fulfilling to use than before. You no longer have to use the New Year's Eve spam for PvE, which is a huge bonus to me in grinding, because that was god-awful experience, in my opinion. I know some might find that unfortunate, but overall, it's a far better PvE experience. In Succession, there's just a lot of quality of life features and whatnot, and the damage is still pretty decent. And they in a way made some things a little bit more protected by allowing you to stay in Red Blade state longer and whatnot. So, and Sucks PvE is actually stronger than Awakenings, which is pretty crazy. So I kind of figured that was going to happen from my tests on Global Labs, but yeah, it's proving that with people throwing out videos of PvE grinds. I've been keeping a close eye on it. So yeah, I'd say everything's really solid. Pretty happy with the changes overall. probably some things I'd like tweaked here and there that I might, you know, complain about here and there when they happen to me. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the changes.
What do you think is going to get nerfed inevitably because your class is now busted?
I wouldn't say it's busted. I don't want to see anything nerfed with how it is. But then again, if something were to be nerfed, you could potentially see some damage nerfs a little bit. Not a lot though. Like every class is dealing so much fucking damage now with the reworks. Like I think it would just be pretty bad design to nerf a class that doesn't have a grab, whereas some of these grab classes are actually dealing similar damage now. It's just with our mobility and whatnot. Like Frosty's shown me some examples of Maywas and his guilds and that have been doing node wars, and they're actually top fragging right now. So
yeah,
kind of gives you an idea of where the state of awakening is. It's really strong. So, but yeah, I mean, awakening isn't going to be in strong in other areas. Like 1v1s probably won't feel as strong compared to some other classes. So it's just like they basically super buffed our large scale potential, and that's where it is right now.
How do you feel about your brother class being the new Flare of the Month?
Moose is extremely strong. I ran into a couple of mooses in BA and was testing versus them. Like damage trading against a moose is like not an option if you have low DP like me. You just get blown up so quickly, and they're protected the entire time almost. So it's just like crazy.
Is that the main difference between y'all? Is just the damage that you're outputting, or what?
So Maywa's damage is like more like we have some AoEs, right? But it's like more direct, more pinpoint. There is some decent size AoEs on the skills now. They have increased the AoE sizes, but like Moose's is just another league of its own as far as AoE. So they're just more consistent on landing their damage, whereas you have to be more like timing and aiming it properly. Blah blah blah. They could just like spin around and like a madman, and they can land a lot of damage if you're just haphazardly going in on them. So you just got to be careful. And their slows are really strong. So that kind of makes another huge difference. They're able to maintain that pressure because of their slows, which is crazy because I actually have some really strong slows in my kit, but it's like theirs is even more oppressive in a way. So yeah, it's a difficult fight right now with how the damage is. I need to get more gear.
Moose's Excel has 100% uptime.
Yeah, I've seen people make that comparison. That like Musa right now is just Nova Excel 24/7.
Yeah.
We'll probably end up talking more about Musa later, so we can.
Oh my god, the Mooses are gonna hate you guys.
Oh yeah. Frosty, what are things like in Kuno Land?
First of all, I want to say you definitely should nerf Maywas because they don't have a grab.
Oh my god.
Dude, Kuno is super fun, man. Like, so leading into the reworks, I was like following Awakening. I was super hyped about Awakening, but then when we heard about that tag event, I was like super hyped about that. I was super hyped about the hash reworks, and I was like, man, I'm gonna be tagging so fucking much. But
yeah, you will.
I haven't been because I've been enjoying Kuno a lot, and having two different specs that both feel viable in different aspects of the game is incredibly fun. And yeah, so I don't know.
I'm still surprised though you haven't tried to just jump on a few other classes though. I kind of
I'm partly also waiting for memory fragments to get the Kudum so I can roll my weapons to Kuno, and then I'll retag a bunch just because I don't want to be not with my Kuno. But so here's the thing, like Succession PvE feels infinitely better. It is wildly better in a lot of ways. I think at Orcs it might still struggle a little bit. It still feels better. Like me personally, my standards aren't as high. I don't need to be a Sucklon to feel like I can grind. So, oh god. So yeah, I'm okay with it, but everywhere else that's not orcs feels insane. Like it feels so fucking good, dude. Like ridiculously good. It is a ton of fun. It's actually like fun to grind, and this having your skills come off cooldown at the next pack you go to is such a crazy thing. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Like being
it's
like,
nuts.
hey, those 4 skills I used to kill a pack are off cooldown at this next pack. This is crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun, and then it's still kind of a sweaty grind, but if you overgear a spot, it can feel pretty chill because it doesn't take a whole lot of skills to kill stuff.
Now, is this in Succession or Awakening? Sorry.
This is in Succession still that I'm referring to.
Okay. So what about Awakening?
So Awakening is the PvE does not feel as good, and it is more sweaty than Suck now. But I think it's still better than before. It's faster, and Spin does more damage, Lunatic does more damage, but it actually is like running into the same issue that Suck used to run into, where when you get to the next pack, you don't have your cooldowns up. So like Lunatic is a big part of the damage, the one where you throw the disc out and it comes back, and it's not available every pack, and then the flow to Spin Spree is also not available. So I don't know. It kind of feels not as good, but I did like a super sweaty half hour, and I was like on pace to get like 6.7k or something like that, which is still really
not terrible.
Yeah, it's still really good for Awakened Kuno. So like I'm not really complaining. I think it's fine. It would be nice if like, so we have this SLMB skill. Like kind of a lot of classes have it. Like Tenacious Edge or Touch of Exploitation.
Basic.
Yeah, your kind of basic hitting skill. And they buffed it slightly and gave it forward guard, and it's like just not quite good enough. It's like so close.
It's lacking like maybe 10% more damage kind of thing, or
10% like
per hit.
So
kind of
they buffed the AoEs on it, but only on the last hits, and then they buffed the damage on the whole thing. But I wish they would buff the damage just a hair more and make the AoEs on the first 2 hits the exact same as the last hit. Yeah, because it just doesn't hit. It doesn't hit like enough mobs. It's okay as
that over time. Well, that could translate into hundreds of extra trash per hour if it makes you use an additional skill. So
yeah, exactly. It only has a 6-second cooldown. That's why I kind of wish it would. And it's like a chill button press, and since it has 3 hits, it kind of like slows the grind down a little bit. Like it makes you feel like it's a little bit less sweaty. But I don't know. It is what it is. I don't know. So it's still like fun though, and it still feels better, but not quite there. I was a little bit surprised though, because they only buffed. It's like weird. I was surprised in 2 ways. I was surprised they only buffed Spin Spree, Half Moon Slash, and then gave Lunatic PvE crit. That's kind of like all the PvE buffs Awakened Kuno got, and then it's just kind of faster overall. Like its attack speed is faster. But I'm also surprised, like it still does better than I thought it would. I thought it wasn't going to make any difference, and it really does make a pretty decent difference. So yeah, that's PvP. But PvP is a whole nother beast. Like they're both incredibly fun. I also am like, I'm so bad at Awakening. Like I'm so bad. I'm so out of touch on like how to play Awakening properly. Even though it's like I have the basics of like the movement and the skills and everything, but like my decision making on Awakening is so incredibly terrible that I just end up getting myself killed a lot. But dude, it's been so much fun in RBF on Awakening. I went to Node War on Thursday, the day after the reworks came out, and we had a really big 4v4, and it was crazy because like, so we were against Cho Nation, and I would not have dreamed of even trying to combo a Cho Nation player unless someone was with me. And like I was actually able to kill some Cho Nation players on Awakened Kuno in a Node War. Which is like, and with other people trying to peel me off. That's the thing. So it was kind of crazy. I don't know. It kind of blew my mind. I don't know. I was
that
right
there is huge.
Now they were still exploding me, but it happened. It happened.
Yeah.
It still felt nice. I was like, hey, Like I ran into someone and I was like, I wasn't like, no, not going to be able to kill him. I'll keep moving. Not going to be able to kill him. I'll keep moving. I was like, all right, let's give this a try. And then either they V'd or I was actually able to get the combo off and kill him, or I fucked up and got myself killed. So it was pretty cool. And then for 1v1, it feels really fun. It just surprisingly fighting a Musa doesn't feel that fun. Which is one of the matchups that I usually love, but there's something about like when I use like Flash Slash or something, like right when I come out, that I just like 40% of my health is just taken from me. I don't know. Yeah, doesn't feel that good.
Do you think the reworks are kind of like an indirect nerf to the higher gear score guilds?
No,
because lower gear score players can
potentially kill them. No, absolutely not. Well, here's kind of how Pax put it. It almost like exacerbates the gear a little bit, because while in a 1v1 scenario that might be the case, what you're saying, but in large scale, like when you're trying to move through a bunch of Titan blows and suck ranger shots and crown chest, like dude, I haven't seen crown chest on Musa in forever. Right? Like, when is the last time anyone's seen him on a Musa?
Yeah,
like, dude,
it's been a long time.
That was like the scariest thing I ran into in that node war. I was like, oh my god, crown chest is right in my face and he's doing so much damage. It was fucking crazy. So, yeah, not really. I don't know. I think if you have a lot of gear, like the range still is like just even more difficult to get through.
Yeah, my experience is fighting an archer. Oh my god, they do so much damage right now. Like by the time you get to them to actually like maybe put some counter pressure, it's just too late. You're already so low if you're not careful.
Yeah. God, I'm so bad. Yeah, so I don't know, it's been a lot of fun. Awakening and Suck both have been pretty fun. But yeah, Suck and I haven't gotten a node war on Suck, but RBFs have been incredibly fun, at least. So that's cool.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm happy about that, dude. I can't believe, so we had that last minute change that we didn't even know about on the podcast, but they gave Shadow Explosion super armor, and it is like, I still am not using it properly because I it's just my head is not wrapped around the fact that I can use it. But like, I can use Shadow Explosion. Actually, it's so fucking crazy. Like if I want to use Shadow Explosion, I can.
Yeah,
it's so crazy. I can't even believe it. It's wild to me. So I still forget to use it from time to time because it's just for 2 years. It's just if I use it, I get CC'd. I still haven't also had time to come up with like a node war combo for Succession. So I don't know. I got to try it. And then for 1v1s, I think both versions of Kuno are pretty cracked. So
yeah,
I think they hold their own and everything. It's funny because me and Nihilus were arguing leading into the reworks that he was saying he thinks Awakening is going to be better. And I was saying I don't think it is. I think Suck's still going to be better because of the Flash Slash cooldown reduction and like Tenon Cutter's still super powerful, etc., etc. And then that last minute like 11th hour super armor, it like adding super armor to Shadow Explosion, and they also changed Ankle Cutter to be forward guard. And now I'm just like, I think Suck is still better than Awakening in 1v1, especially because of that. That super armor every 9 seconds, that's like actually a decent super armor length, feels really fucking good. So, I don't know, but they're close. Yeah. In other matchups though, it feels good. Like I actually haven't had a chance to really like fight a ninja, like sit and fight a ninja or like any of these other assassins, so I gotta try it out. I've mostly been fighting Musas. And
yeah, because they're like everywhere now.
Yeah, I've been mostly fighting Musas and experimenting, trying to find a way to like mitigate damage against Musa. I will say this, and I hope it gets changed, but Kuno has this thing, and I think a lot of classes have this. I've heard a few people complain about it. I don't know which ones. I'd have to make a list. I kind of want to make a list for the people that hate it, but they added an immensely horrible block lock on Kuno's pre-awaken block. And I believe it's on Ninja too. Dude, it is so bad. Like, if I try to use Shadow Stomp, I get block locked constantly now. Like, constantly, this block lock. Like, if I go step to the side and press SE, because you, for a split second, you have your guard up. First. Yeah, for that split second, you have that frontal guard. And then it doesn't let me do Shadow Stomp or anything else. And because I ghost stepped, I can't use any abilities until ghost steps off cooldown. And it happens to me, and it's jarring. Like, it's really, really jarring. It keeps happening to me all the time. And also they added, like, Shadow Clone's keybind now is SR and B, so it keeps happening to that skill as well. So it's like every time I try to use Shadow Stomp or Shadow Clone, I just get block locked, and it feels terrible.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm being CC'd.
That's so I don't get that in PvP. But like in PvE, when I'm grouping mobs up on top of me and they're swinging at me, certain abilities in my rotation, like when I go to do Moonrise, sometimes that'll happen because I hit S first. I mean, you could do FS, but if your Stigma is up, you'll end up doing Stigma on accident. Well, technically not on accident. You're pressing the key for it, but so that's why you have to do the proper key sequence to do S first and then F. But you end up having those situations happen where you get like stuck in a block lock row for a few moments, and that in PvP could be very dangerous. Like, that could be the key for someone to create an opening on you, and especially if they know that's going to happen. Yeah, that's a real problem. So
people are asking me what block lock is. Blocked. I'm saying block locked. So block space locked. So here's what happens. So right now, when I S block, if a mob touches my frontal guard, my hands are off the keyboard right now. My hands are completely off the keyboard. I'm stuck in block. I'm not pressing block. I'm not doing anything. I'm literally just stuck in it. And the thing that's really, really punishing for Kuno to get block locked is our block costs stamina. So it's not only draining our block, preventing us from using abilities, but it's also draining our stamina the whole time it happens. So in PvP, when I try to Shadow Stomp and I end up getting block locked because I tapped S, it feels really fucking bad, dude. Like, oh my god, it feels really fucking bad. And yeah, when you're in that block lock, you can't use any abilities. Like, I'm unable to use anything except for like sideways ghost step. That's the only way to get out of it. So I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing that I got to get used to. But I don't like it. I'm not really sure why they did it. It almost feels like unintentional. Like an unintentional consequence of their block changes. So hopefully they go through every class and just remove that. Like, block lock feels terrible, especially when you had zero intention of blocking. That's where it's like really fucking killing me. If I was sitting there holding my Q block, then I get it. Like, I kind of understand you're accepting, like, hey, you're gonna block incoming damage and CCs, but you might be stuck in the block and the only way out is to move to the side. But I'm not ever doing it on purpose, ever. I'm not trying to block in like any of these situations where I keep getting stuck. So yeah, anyway, that shit's really, really irritating. And
block lock in general just kind of needs to be removed, honestly.
Yeah, if I press a key command, just let me use my next ability and come out of block. But the other thing is like,
exactly.
It would be
fine. Prioritize the skill.
Yeah, it would be fine if it was like in a slower version of the game, like years ago, but nowadays everything's too fast.
Yeah, I mean, I also want to be clear, it's not just a Kuno thing, it's happening on a lot of classes. So I'm just using Kuno as an example because I've experimented it, but I've been experiencing it. But yeah, it's like dude, I don't know. It doesn't feel good. Like, for example, if you try to queue up an ability, like if I'm gonna use like let's say if I want to go Shadow Stomp and immediately after Shadow Stomp I want to use Shadow Clones, and the keybind for it is SR and B. So you kind of like, you start your stomp, and when the animation's going, you press SR and B, and instead of it doing the animation, I get block locked, and it's just like, why? And that one's even more frustrating because Shadow Clone on spacebar was totally fine, and they changed it. It doesn't work on spacebar anymore for like zero reason. I don't know why. It was like fine on spacebar. So, and then like you can hotbar it, but for like standard issue, the hotbar version is slower than the keybind version. So, yeah. I don't know. Anyway, the block lock thing is kind of annoying. But anyway, Kuno overall, way more fun. Super fun. I've been enjoying it a lot. Succession feels more fun. Awakening feels like more fun. Again, I'm mostly just sad that we didn't get any slight like animation tweaks, like visually, just to make it feel newer.
Are they not doing
anything.
anymore? I thought they were going to be doing more.
They never said they were, so I don't know.
Didn't they say something after the Musamewa ones? They were gonna continue with those. I forget which patch. I think it was like 3 weeks ago. But didn't they say something like that?
No, I would have remembered that because that would have been like huge. Because I've been thinking about it a lot. But no, they
maybe I misunderstood it.
Yeah, it's I don't know. But yeah, it's not that it needs it, obviously, but. You know, just a couple little sparks here and there. Like, I look at Violation Turnback Slash, which didn't really change as skills that much, and they got, like, crazy new animations that look really cool. And Violation Slash got a new sound effect, too. And I was like, dude, I want some new animations. New sound effects? Come on, man. Come on, man! Anyway, so, yeah. Kuno's pretty good. Pretty good class now. Pretty good class. Now I need to experience Node Wars more, but overall, very, very good class. Let me touch on Awaken Hash a little bit. Although I haven't had a chance to RBF on Awaken Hash as much, or to Node War on it as anything like, or anything like that yet. Mostly just been testing stuff out and then like 1v1s. But Hash PvE is much better and feels much better. It feels really fucking good. And their PvP also just feels better. I mean, their changes were more straightforward. They basically just got like damage buffs across the board. They slightly changed the functionality of Ensnaring Sand and Serpent's Coil and the way they work now. Like Serpent's Coil feels very much like a poor man's Carson's Nightmare now. So you can kind of I haven't got the problem is I think those two abilities have a huge impact on large scale, and I haven't had a chance to do large scale yet. Outside of like RBF, so I can't say for sure how it feels, but those two skills actually deal damage, and it's kind of amazing. They'll probably be nerfed, but it's it feels good as it currently is. Now, when I go against evasion, it's weird. Like most players that are evasion, I don't even really notice the accuracy loss. But then at the extremes, it's noticeable. Like the Divioses, or you know what I mean, at the high end, it's just like, oh my god, dude. Imagine if I had 10% more hit rate. But I don't know. The class overall is like more fun. I think Hash feels way more fun with the changes. I still don't think I don't know how to say this without sounding like it's like egotistical. But I don't think the average player that really likes Suck Hash for the way Suck Hash plays is going to enjoy Awaken Hash if they didn't already kind of like it before.
I think that's fair.
Because I still think it still plays like Awaken Hash. Like it didn't gain Descent, I guess, is really just the end of like the TLDR of it is like they didn't give it Descent. So you still have to kind of do like Node War combos and be really careful with the way you position and stuff. It's not you're not going to jump in and just instantly pop people. You have to play really smart and be careful. Go in, like try to, the way like Heart King. So Heart King I kind of use as a reference because really is the only other Hash I know that likes to Node War on Awakening prior to the buffs. But you kind of have to not try to set up your kills yourself for the most part. I think now individual, like if you isolate people, you can a lot better now. But in like groups, like for example, if I jump into a group on a Kuno, I'm gonna try my best to CC, re-CC, and secure the kill like myself. Whereas Hash, I've been saying a little bit, the way I describe it is it feels like a little bit more of a supportive role. Like especially with the new Ensnaring Sands. Like you can change like 3v3s or 2v2s in fights immense, like with the way Ensnaring Sands works with the slows, with the way his CCs can be kind of, you're poking at range with like I don't know, the quicksand CC, or how quickly you can jump into a fight and then jump back out, or like purges range, stuff like that. Like your peel potential is really good. But it's not like a setup CC re-CC kill completely by yourself on a group of people like Suck is. Descent be hitting different.
Yeah.
TLDR, Descent hits different. Prime Descent feels different. But anyway, overall, it's still, I think, going to be way better in large scale than it currently is, at least. I think for the people that do like it, it's going to feel like a huge upgrade, and it's going to feel awesome. So there is that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What about any of your other old loves? Of any of that interest you? Sork, Mystic, Corsair.
Frosty has a lot of X's.
I'm in a honeymoon phase with Kuno Hash right now, so it might be a minute. Like, I was sitting here thinking, like, dude, I wonder what I'm gonna like. I was thinking about taking a break from Hash for a while because I thought it wasn't gonna get anything, and then it got its changes, and Hash is super fun now. So at the end of this tag event, I'm like 95% sure I'm still gonna end up just Kuno Hash. But I will experiment on some stuff. I kind of want to experiment
until
on
the
Sork.
Dragon Knight comes out.
Until the Dragon Knight comes out, yeah, and hopefully it's actually a Pokemon. But I don't know. We'll see. I want to try out Sork. I don't know what happened, because I know Rez, like when we first met, like way back in the day, like I played Sork a lot, and I just can't. I don't know why. Yeah. I'm not into it anymore. Like every time I like mess around on a Sork, it's like after like 5 minutes, I'm over it.
Yeah. It's funny, actually. I had a blast from the past when I watched one of Mina's old videos, and it had an old Hex Node War in which you were not only shot calling, but you were shot calling on Sork. And I was like, holy shit, that is an old clip. Oh my god.
Yeah, the good old days, dude. Dude, I actually prefer. I mean, the two classes that I loved shot calling on the most back then was Sork, Awakened Sork, and Mystic. Like Mystic in its prime for obvious reasons, because it just didn't die, so you're just in the front line with everyone, and you were like basically the meat of the fight. And then Sork was also like, you just didn't die, but you were also like able to get kills. I don't know. Anyway, so
yeah, plus Black Hole was OP.
I was super excited for Mystic until they Awaken Mystic, until they nerfed the damage for PvP. I know its PvE got a huge upgrade. I've been seeing like some kind of crazy Awaken Mystic videos too for PvE, but I was more hoping that
testosterone raid is getting my eyes. I kind of hurt.
Oh, Nyashi had to Nyashi raided me. He has to head out later. Nyashi.
Yeah, he has to leave.
Yeah, I gotta head out, guys. I'm sorry.
All right, man. No problem.
No
Take
problem,
it easy. Enjoy your solo spa day.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get my facial on. Get all that shit.
He's just going by himself, dude.
I'll send you pictures with the damn cucumbers on my eyes.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right.
Take it easy.
Later, man.
Later, brother.
Anyway, so like Mystic, and I just never really liked Suck. I'm not super into punching. Like the only reason I think I liked Awakening Mystic is because the dragon and the water.
Water animations.
Yeah. Water and dragons are kind of cool. I don't know, like
don't
there's
get
some
Frosty started on water animations, bro.
There's some I want to try. Like I want to test Suck Nova PvE just because I want to see how much the pets changed and if it's noticeable for me. I kind of want to test Archer. How many skill points does an Archer need?
Not a lot at all.
Really? I have a 61 Archer. I do kind of want to. I feel like my gear fits Archer really well. And then
yeah. What about Ninja?
I just am not into Ninja anymore. Also, you know what the problem is with Ninja is the last few times I played Ninja, which I did have fun on it when I played it the last few times. But my problem with Ninja is I move because of my hand injury, and I stopped using the shift key. I moved shift, I rebound it to my mouse, and Ninja uses shift a lot, and it uses it in very interesting ways. So it's like it's gonna be a learning curve, like trying to relearn Ninja with shift on my mouse.
Right.
Because you're using shift for silent charge and ghost step, and then using shift for murderous intent. And like my whole life of playing Ninja, anytime I played Ninja, I was doing that with my left hand, so it's just gonna be weird. Anyway,
what do you use shift for now?
What do you mean? Like what button?
Yeah.
I have it on page down on my mouse.
Wait,
Yeah.
no. I mean, like, what does your actual shift key do? Is what I'm saying.
Well, it still is just shift. I just don't press it. So I'm not using my left pinky.
I thought you would rebind it to something else.
No, I did. No, I didn't change shift to do something else. I just added shift keybind to a different key so I can use it from there instead of pressing it with my left pinky. Since my left pinky got fucking.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. That's a free hotkey right there now, brother.
Yeah, I know, but the whole point of not using it was because of the injury. So like me rebinding it to something that I'm going to be pressing it defeats the purpose, doesn't it?
Hey, you put it on a hotkey that you don't use more often. You know, it's like a 1 minute cooldown or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that'll be my rage absorb.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Perfect.
Yeah. Outside, I also want to try Awaken Valk, but I need a teacher to sit and spend some time with me because that class I feel like moves and it's funky class. I also want to try Awaken Ranger for a little bit. But I don't know. Outside of that, I'm not super interested in too many classes. Oh, Tamer. Probably Tamer, Archer, experiment with Nova just to see the mob damage, and then yeah, I don't know. I guess Tamer, Archer, Valk Ranger. I don't even know if I'm gonna end up. I mean, I'll tag a Sork anyway, just because it's free. So right now, like literally, I'm just hindered by I'm gonna sell my Kudum. So my weapons are on my hash. I'm gonna sell my hash as Kudum, and then make the guaranteed boss Kudum and on my Kuno, and then use the 3 weapon coupons to swap to my Kuno, and then I'll retag a bunch of stuff, and then at the end of the whole thing, probably tag my hash.
Right.
My Kuno.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. What about you? What do you think about tagging? I know back in the day you used to be a reroll-holic a little bit.
Yeah. And then we got Seismic. Yeah, I don't know. I've kind of just been trying to get a handle on Zerker before I start playing anything else, honestly. I haven't tagged anything as of this point in time. I do plan on tagging everything I said I was going to before the reworks came out. Wizard, Witch, Archer, and probably Striker at some point. Although I don't have good gear for Striker, but whatever. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to get a handle on Zerker right now because it's such a different experience than what it was before. So yeah, I'm trying to
how's it feel
figure it out
in Battle Arena. Awaken Zerker.
Zerker feels really, really powerful. I've been doing a little bit of 1v1s, not too much because I don't put a lot of value on 1v1s personally because of just desync. I don't know. I just don't care for them. They make me upset. That being said, I have been doing quite a bit of RBFs, and we've also done 2 Node Wars since the reworks came out. So I've had the chance to use it in 2 separate Node Wars, which has been fun. The first one we 2v1'd Family alongside Ingidium, and then 1v1'd Ingidium. And then the second Node War we had a 1v1 versus Villainous.
Right.
So it's been pretty good fights. Family is obviously kind of a lot more geared than where I'm at. But Ingidium and Villainous are a lot more kind of like my area. So they were pretty good fights to test it against. And I would say Awakening Zerker is very, very strong. Very, 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 very strong. Probably going to get nerfed, but I also said that about Seismic when Seismic first came out and it never did. So who knows? Maybe I'm wrong about that.
Until now. Someone wanted me to ask you about if Corpse Storm is any good, and I'm going to answer that for you. Yes, it is, because what happens is when you grab someone, they V immediately, and if you use the Corpse Storm extension, they come out of V in your hands.
Yeah.
It's actually hilarious.
Yeah, so Corpse Storm is it's not a grab anymore, it's an extension now. And yeah, if you get, this is a pro tip. I'm actually going to make all the Zerkers angry by saying this, but pro tip. If you get grabbed by a Zerker, if you can, don't V instantly. You want to V like after they put you down, basically. or maybe like halfway through their extension. Because if you V right when you get grabbed, because we now have 2 extensions on our SmackDown grab with both Corpse Storm, which is the one you see where they spin around, and then Undertaker, which is the one where they jump in the air with them. Because we have 2 extensions now, you can, if you V at the start, you'll come out of V right as the grab animation ends. So you're basically wasting your V. So if you're getting grabbed by a Zerker, do not V immediately. You got to fight that urge to panic V. It's actually not good. You got to fight that urge. But yeah, so Corpse Storm is good for like that. It also surprisingly has pretty decent damage. Like it actually does a couple ticks of damage, which is really strange. So I don't know. It's pretty situational. You don't want to use it in large scale, obviously, because you're just gonna like get clapped. But in 1v1s, absolutely. And if you manage to get like a pick away from the ball, then yeah, you want to use Corpse Storm. But yeah, Zerker's really strong. Titan Blow does like way too much damage. Probably needs to be nerfed. I think like the super geared Zerkers are just one-shotting people with Titan Blow. Also, split shot, being able to use it off cooldown is kind of insane. I think that's less of a problem. I think if they do anything with that, maybe they just reduce the damage slightly when it's on cooldown, when you use it on cooldown. But Titan Blow for sure. I see the nerf. I see the nerf bat coming towards Titan Blow's way. It does so much damage. Titan Blow is basically just like Serpent, but it takes longer, basically.
Well, yeah, it's funny because I was like, I was going through some RBFs, and RBF DR fucks the way you experience stuff, so it's hard to tell. And I was like, this doesn't seem that bad. And then I ran into Lamezor in Node War, and I was like, yeah, no, that's a problem. That's definitely not good. That's feels insane.
Yeah. It's definitely a problem. I don't know. I think that it should do damage.
Yep, should for sure.
It should not be one-hitting people. And I know what, like, Zerkers are probably going to be a little upset with me for saying it's one hit. You have to hit them with all 3.
Yeah.
So Titan Blow is 3 hits, and in order to do all of the damage of the skill, you have to hit them with all 3 hits, which isn't always possible, especially in a large scale setting where a lot of people have frontal guards or rotating SAs, and then you hit them with the first hit, which would stiffen, but they're protected, so it doesn't, and now they just avoid the other 2 hits, right? So it is balanced in that way, but I think it's still, even considering that, I think it just does too much damage. I think maybe bring the damage down, I don't know, maybe by like 33%, maybe.
That's a lot. You sure?
Make it, yeah. It still does fine damage.
I know, but it needs to be like subtle. I mean, here's the thing though, is like if you do such a dramatic change, I feel like it has to be subtle. I know it's probably not going to happen, but I hope all of the change, like when anything that gets nerfed, I hope it's just a subtle change, see how it plays out for a week or 2, and then a subtle change.
I would like to see. I would like to see what's the word?
Compensation. Yeah, you're owed something.
Compensatory. I don't know what's the word. Compensatory changes where. So okay, let's say you nerf Titan Blow by 33%, right? The damage on Titan Blow.
Okay.
You still leave the cooldown the same. It's still protected because you're taking the core version. Because why the fuck would you not? But we just reduced the damage by like 1/3, right? Then the other change that maybe you can make to kind of fill that is you reduce the cooldown on moving shot, right?
Yeah.
So that maybe now we can use moving shot as part of our range damage as well to kind of compensate for that reduction of damage in the one single skill of Titan Blow, right?
Okay.
And now it's a thing where you can use moving shot to make up for that damage, right?
You're saying add damage to shooting mobility, or you're saying it already does damage? Yeah, no. Someone's saying like, what's he talking about? Does not do damage. That's what he's saying.
No. Right now it doesn't do damage. I'm saying like reduce the cooldown of it because right now it's like I think like 13 seconds. Give it some more damage, and then you can like use it as like that range damage. So now it becomes a choice, right? Do you throw it in with your range damage, or do you save it for like a catch / an escape at some point? So I don't know. I think that might be interesting. I don't know. I just think having one single skill do like that much damage, even if it is 3 hits. I don't know. It doesn't seem balanced, and I don't want them to increase the cooldown. I think that would suck.
Yeah, Hazard, you're completely misunderstanding what he's saying. The general idea of it is that the damage shouldn't all be loaded on one skill, spread it across multiple skills.
Yeah,
essentially. So you're just getting hung up on like he keeps just repeating shooting mobility doesn't do damage. He said that like 4 times. He literally can't say it anymore.
I'm saying take some of the damage from Titan Blow, put it on shooting mobility, and reduce the cooldown a little bit. So now you have a choice with shooting mobility, whether to use it as it's used currently or to throw it into your ranged like combo. Like it's not actually a combo, but your ranged combination of skills that do range damage. Right now it becomes a choice.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was just because here's the thing: they've actually done a really good job with the whole split shot off cooldown and adding of scatter shot and all that kind of stuff. Our engage now is very choice heavy. Basically, whenever you dive in, you have to decide, okay, do I think I can get off like a full ancient wave here? Which, probably not. Unprotected, right? You still got that wind up unless you're Q buffed, so that's kind of dangerous. But it has the same AOE as Scattershot, does really insane damage, and then you can combo it into your other skills to do even more damage, right? Or do I not have the ability to do that? I need to just use a protected skill. So I just go in, I do Scattershot, Split Shot, Seismic, and then okay, do I Split Shot again for more damage, or do I Giant Leap out now, right? So there's a lot of decisions that you kind of have to make whenever you're diving into the ball, which is very interesting, and I'd kind of like to see that like system be extended to the ranged options as well, instead of just being you spam Titan Blow every 6 seconds to kill like 1 or 2 people.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
I get that. Is it only Titan Blow that does more damage from range? Everything else is kind of the same thing, right?
Yeah, well, so the Ancient Power got the cooldown reduced massively. It used to be, I think, like 20 seconds or something. Now it's 6. So I don't think
13.
It actually does more damage, but you're just getting hit with it way more often.
I think it was 13, if I'm not mistaken.
Was it Ancient Power?
Ancient Power was 13, maybe. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I thought
never
it was
used it because it was basically you would only kind of use it in like castle sieges, or if you were kind of like posted up, which is very kind of situationally. The only time you really used it frequently is when you were Q buffed, so you don't really notice the cooldown because you're just spamming it. So, but yeah, so that's a lot lower of a cooldown, and it's also quite a bit faster. And what's really interesting about that is that it's frontal guard both while it's charging and while it's charged. So like while you're holding it, basically, it's also still frontal guard. Kind of similar to other like range classes charge up abilities where you can kind of hold the frontal guard. So, yeah, I don't know. It's really fun. It's really strong. It's really fun. I think they did a really, really good job with the rework. I know a lot of people probably won't be happy with it having a lot more like range stuff. I know personally some friends of mine that are kind of like I don't really want to play New Zerk because I don't want to play a ranged class, which is like it's not
hybrid.
a ranged class.
Yeah,
it's hybrid. Exactly.
Hybrid,
it's not a ranged class. I don't know.
What how ranged is Titan Blow? Is it like archer ranged, or is it like less than that? Is it a mid-range skill, or is it just straight up like you can hit from a mile away? Have you tested the range?
So it's got good range on it. I would say it's not like archer range. Some of Archer's skills, yeah, it's comparable to, but definitely not some of the longer ranged ones. And the other thing about Archer range is that Archer's longest range skills also have pretty big AoEs. So you look at something like Piercing Light, and it has a giant AoE attached to it, which also extends the range of it. Titan Blow does not. So something else to consider, but it's pretty far. It's pretty fucking far. Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's weird because they nerfed like so seismic and the new skill got nerfed by so much like leading into the release. So it's odd that they left Titan Blow hitting super hard since it's ranged and with the it's CC and with the core has frontal. So it's just like it's a pretty overloaded skill.
Yeah, they really put a lot into it, which I think is kind of. I like Titan Blow, and I'm having fun with it, obviously. But I don't know if that's the best way to go. Like, I don't know. At the end of the day, we just have to do whatever the devs want us to do, right? So it's whatever. But they basically they made sorry, not split shot. They made Titan Blow the new Q buff, but it's just on a lower cooldown. Where now instead of waiting for my Q buff cooldown so that I can get kills, I'm waiting for Titan Blow.
Yeah. What do you how does Q buff
and it's still
feel?
better, but I don't know. Q buff it's not really. I mean, it's good for getting off like the instant cast Ancient Wave and the instant cast Ancient Power. So it's still like useful, obviously, as well as the resistances that it gives you. It gives you 50% resist. But yeah, it's definitely not. You can't spam shoot anymore. You can still spam shoot actually, but it's a lot slower. It doesn't do as much damage, and it doesn't constantly bounce you around.
Right.
So it's still useful, obviously, but it's nowhere near as powerful as it used to be.
All right. What about PV? You haven't done PV yet?
Not on Awakening, no. I've been doing a Succession because I don't know. I just do this thing where I exclusively grind in Succession and PvP on Awakening. I've been told that Succession is the better PvEer anyway.
Right.
So I don't know how true that is because I haven't done any grind in Awakening, so I can't confirm that. That's just what I've been being told. But it wouldn't surprise me that much in all honesty, because Claws is pretty insane in PvE. It seems to me, and again, I'm not the expert. I don't PvE as much as other people do. I kind of play this game exclusively for PvP. But it seems to me like the rotation is you just prime spin and then claws all the mobs down, and then once your prime spins off cooldown, you just go back to you just spin claws, spin claws, spin claws. You just do that over and over again. It's pretty effective. Claws does a lot of damage, although it is unprotected. So if you're playing, or if you're grinding mobs that CC a lot, probably not the best course of action because you'll get CC'd out of it.
Yeah.
But lot of damage, lot of damage. I pulled up your chat. I like this guy. He's like so angry with me for really, having an opinion that's different than his.
He's pretty upset with you. Well, I think he's just taking every word you say a little bit too literal. So like, I mean, you didn't really say Q buff was trash.
No,
you just said
I said it's not nearly as good as it used to be.
Not as good as it used to be. That's all.
It went from being the strongest like skill in the game, bar none, to being like a fairly useful skill that's good in like certain situations.
Yeah.
Like at no point did I say it was like completely dog shit, worthless. Like might as well remove it from the game. But that's kind of what he heard, I guess. I don't know, that's weird.
I've the only suck Zerker experience I have is getting killed by Danny Destroyer when he was paired up with Etsu Moon in the partner 2v2 thing.
How'd that go, by the way?
They beat us pretty bad. We lost 4-2 in that match. Dude, there's this clip. So we're in the first fight, we were against Zachary and Leaf, right? And I was inting so hard, dude. Like it was so bad. Like that's what I was saying. Like I realized like my not playing Awakening for so long, like legitimately has been so just detrimental. Like even with all the changes, I'm just like terrible, right? But we were fighting Leaf and Zachary, and it was really funny because one of the fights, it is on trials. This is on trial characters. One of the fights, Choice, is he gets CC'd by he gets like stiffed or something, and then he gets floated, and then he gets knocked down with Grim, And then he gets down smashed by Soul Reaper. He gets down smashed by a disc. He gets down smashed by Swirling Darkness. He gets down smashed by their kick. And then he gets down smashed by Darkness Released. And then he gets re-CC'd. And then Leaf comes back from out of V and also throws in some damage. And Choice is still able to V and get out. It was fucking absurd. It was. I went and rewatched it in slow motion. It was 5 down smashes. And then at the end, Leaf threw in a little bit of extra damage as well on top of Zach's damage. And he still got out of the fucking combo, dude.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was actually insane.
Yeah. Down smashes, man. God.
Yeah, I don't know. It was pretty wild. So, yeah, but Zerkers, it's interesting fighting it because, and I don't know if it's just Danny's playstyle or what, but he feels like you don't, when they want to just go, like you get no like time to do anything. It's just like they're going in your face.
Yes.
And then the AoEs like from Predatory Hunt and then the 45-second like AoE stun are extremely like I don't know if it's just the animation doesn't actually show on the ground or if I always just underestimate it. I always think I'm far enough away and I end up getting CC'd by that shit. And I'm just like, oh my God, what's happening to me?
Yeah.
And it doesn't help that I had Etsu just fucking wailing on me from range as well, you know? And Etsu's, you know, kind of one of the better DKs. So
yeah,
it was rough. It was hard, man. It was hard.
So I fought a Suckzerker, and to be fair, he normally PvPs in Awakening, but he was just kind of trying out Succession for the fun of it sort of thing. And the one thing that I noticed instantly was, goddamn, this class is so fast. Like, it was already fast, but it feels so much faster than it was before. Which I think goes with that whole thing you said about, like, when it wants to go, it fucking goes. And like there's nothing you can do about that. Yeah, for sure the AoE on Predatory is big. I don't know if I'd like to hear Danny's thoughts, which hopefully we can get him on the 3-year anniversary special. I'd love to hear him talk about the new flow, the Falling Rock flow. If that's actually like a good what's what I'm looking for, like substitute for the old cancel, because I think if I remember correctly that he actually used that cancel quite a bit in PvP as well as PvE. And so they gave us the Falling Rock thing now in Succession, well, and Awakening too, but obviously it's better in Succession, which is a protected CC, which is pretty huge. But I wonder if it's actually working out well for him.
If I had to guess, I'd say he's probably unhappy. But he was complaining about damage, and I can't speak to it because I haven't really gotten to test it. But it was a little bit odd because he was still killing me very easily. We were doing a little bit of 1v1s in BA like a few hours before the tournament. And like, it wasn't anything scientific, right? It was just random catches and then like dealing damage. But sometimes I got out of the combo and sometimes he killed me, which happens when I'm 1v1ing kind of anyone because I'm C20, you know? So it's like occasionally I get out of people's combos if they messed up or if I don't get re-CC'd or if the combo, like the timing of the cooldowns like doesn't really line up, you know? It just happens. But so when he did combo me, like did like a legit combo, it killed me in like really fast. But he was saying that overall the damage feels bad.
It's lacking.
I think the problem, at least the way he described it when he's on the podcast, is still the same, where it's like they don't sort of have like that Node War burst damage.
Yeah. Well, that's always been the problem with Suckzerker, and the rework, unfortunately, we kind of knew going into it wasn't going to do anything to really alleviate the problem, which is unfortunate. That's also the reason I don't really care about PvPing in the spec, because, again, I don't put much emphasis on 1v1s. I just do Node Wars, and it's just not super good for that unless you want to just be 100% BSR bot. Because the 100%'s good, and that's it.
Yeah. The 100%. Well, the 45 is it Fearsome Tyrant, right? Is the 45-second cooldown?
Yeah, that's the 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. The non 100% version of that skill is also really fucking good. Like, I think that skill's incredible. I was watching like a montage kind of thing of a Suckzerker in war, and like, granted, he wasn't really getting a lot of kills, but in the context of how useful and helpful he was to his team, it was actually really nuts because he would jump from so far away, like people just aren't really ready for it, and just get a huge amount of CCs. So if he had like, if it was coordinated with a ball engage, it's actually like kind of wild. Now it reminds me a little bit of like Suck Kuno's 100%. Like sometimes I haven't really been on Suck Kuno and Node War in a little bit, but what I usually would try to do, even though the 100% doesn't really kill people anymore, I would try to like I'd be listening to Pax's calls, and right when he calls PA, I would like dive in and use my 100% to try to like CC a bunch of people right before the ball gets there, just to make the fight easier. Which, while I don't get a bunch of kills, it still does benefit the team a lot. That's
Right.
kind of how it seemed to me, at least with that ability, from like leaping from far and stunning people.
So, unless I'm mistaken, which I very well might be, because again, I don't PvP in Succession. I don't think it's protected if you don't have the BSR, even the Prime version.
Probably.
I might be wrong about that, but I don't think it's protected. I'm pretty sure.
The Fearsome Tyrant, you're saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. Azu?
I mean, I guess I can
They're
check
saying
real
full
quick.
SA. It's fully protected now after rework.
Oh, so it is fully protected now.
Yeah,
after
so
the
it's
rework.
SA.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's good.
So
but,
just as an engage, it was pretty fat. It seemed pretty fat.
But again, like, what do you do after that? And what do you do if you don't want to be an engage bot? What do you do if you want to like be a fragger? You know. I don't know. It's just I feel bad for Sucksuckers.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Hopefully we can have Danny on, and then he can come with a long list, a CVS receipt list of grievances post rework.
I killed a Sork. Dude, Sorks feel like they never run out of stamina when I fight Sorks now. If a Sork is good, they don't run out of stamina anymore. Like I don't know. I'm not sure if Swirling Darkness recovers stamina or not. I have a feeling it does, but also just the fact that nothing uses shards anymore, so they have shards all the time, means like they just have iframes available because that's what the shards do.
Yeah. The I 1v1'd a Sork in my guild Krem the other day, and against Sork, I was basically just trying to keep my distance. I was basically every time I would get close, I would use like my protected CCs, of which I don't have a lot of, and I would throw down my slow, and then I was like, all right, now I'm leaving, because my thought process was like, I can range these kids now, right? Now that I have Titan Blow and I have Ancient Power, like I can just try and like range them down, right? Break through their frontals, which they're gonna have to use if they chase me when I go for range, right? And man, it did not work out like that because he just kind of iframed towards me, and there was very few times where he had to stop and sit in Q block like they always say they have to do. And I was like, huh. Well, what do I do now?
Yeah.
Because I can't just throw grabs out anymore either. Because what I used to like to do is I would sit there in either SA or in block, and I would try to predict when they would try to, whatever it's called, I think Night Crow, behind you and go for the quick CC. So I would try and predict that and counter with a grab. But now my grab's unprotected as well, right? So I can't really do that. It's kind of taken a... I can't predict that where they're going to end up anymore because I'll just end up getting CC'd.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a weird thing where I was like, I can't do what I used to do, and what I thought I could do, I can't do because they're not running out of stamina. What exactly am I supposed to do?
You just chill, dude. Just chill.
Yeah, just sit there. No, I if I had to say, I'd say we probably went about 50-50 if I had to say. I wasn't keeping track, but I think we probably went like 50-50, honestly. At the end of the day, BSR Deva is still really, really strong against Sorks because it lingers for so long.
Yeah.
For some reason, they don't realize it's SA. They never do. So they just throw all of their CC at you while you're just standing there.
Dude, it's the thing I make fun of Storks for all the time, because they all tell me constantly that they have to learn every other class like no other class has to do, because they don't have a grab. They're the hardest class to play in the game. And then I just see them sitting there spamming all their CCs into a skill like Devastation. And I'm like, yeah, you definitely spend a lot of time doing all your homework, and you definitely aren't just throwing out random CCs as quickly as you can to see what lands.
Yeah. They're just like, oh, he's standing still. Iframe CC, iframe CC, iframe CC, iframe CC, iframe CC. Gets CC'd. Man, this class sucks. It's like, okay, dude.
Yeah. What about... So you're considering trying out Archer, right? And
yeah.
Since you did it back in the day.
Yeah. I've played Archer twice. For collectively probably about 1.5 years. And it's very, very strong right now. It seems like everyone's kind of fragging out pretty hard on Archer. This seems to be more from like the kind of passive changes they received, right? Like some accuracy, some damage changes, things like that, rather than something like Titan Blow, where it's just like a new skill or a rework skill that's just being crazy. Although Full Bloom is nuts, we did get the nerfed version of it, so unfortunately we're not getting as insane clips as they were getting in KR that first week with the Full Bloom.
Good.
But there are still a lot of people that are getting kills just from shooting their Full Bloom into a group of people. So yeah, it seems very strong. Seems really, really, really strong right now. I know everybody's complaining about range damage, pretty justifiably. So I think the damage in general right now is kind of just insane, and the range damage feels very frustrating if you're a melee, because it feels like you can't do anything against it. So yeah, Archer is just kind of compounding onto that problem. It's kind of interesting to see the Archer mains try to like defend it in kind of the same way that Musas are defending Musa, where they're like, we've been dog shit for so long, let us be strong. It's just kind of funny.
I need to fight more Archers, because do you know Fetch?
Yeah.
I spent some time in BA with him, and he was showing me like a bunch of different combinations and combos, and I had him pop his Q buff and do the same things, and also his have a draft up, just so I get a better idea of what it would feel like in Node War. And like, I don't know, man, compared to Titan Blow and compared to some of the Suck Ranger stuff, it doesn't even really feel close to that to me. I think just more Archers existing, obviously they have more damage. Like, I'm not denying they don't have more damage than they used to, but I think it's just the idea of them being there is like new, and it's like adding more range damage just in general, if that makes sense. I don't know, like they weren't, I mean, again, I have like a lot of DP, but compared to how hard his gear hits me on other classes, I don't even think it was like close. He still had a full combo, even with his Q buff up, he still had to re-CC me. So maybe I need to test with a different Archer. He's 314 AP. So maybe someone with 316 would be a little bit different, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to... It didn't seem as bad to me as some of the other range damage skills, if you catch my drift.
No, I think I would agree with that. I think it's... People are just upset at the amount of range damage right now between like Ranger and Archer and Zerker. And it's less that they hate Archer specifically, it's just that they hate Archer because it's a big part of the problem right now, which is just range damage, which is a part of the bigger problem, which is just damage in general right now is fucking insane.
Yeah. Well, again, like people are... He had to re-CC, like people, I guess you don't understand when I say he had to re-CC me. The point is, like, these other classes don't. They just kill me in the first 2 or 3 skills from range, whether I'm in SA or not. Like, this dude actually had to do a combo, which is, like, different. And, yeah, getting 150 kills in Siege, I don't know, it kind of doesn't mean anything. Like, we had a Musa get 140 kills 2 weeks ago before the rework, so I guess Musa was already way too strong. It's like, yeah, it just doesn't really tell me anything.
Yeah.
So
no, I agree with you. That being said, I do still think that Archer's really strong.
Yeah, I think it's super strong. I just don't know if it's like if it's doing like what some of these other classes are doing, I guess is all my point was.
No, and yeah, I think I would agree with that. I don't think it's as powerful as like Musa is right now. Obviously, very Flare of the Month. The Zerker as well. I don't think Archer's even putting out the same damage as Suck Ranger is. But I think that's where it comes into what you said about there being a lot more Archers now. I think there's more Archers right now than there is Suck Rangers. So I think Suck Rangers are kind of flying under the radar a little bit. People are obviously upset with them too because range damage, but I think Archer's getting more hate because there's just more of them at the moment, I think, honestly.
Yeah.
Witch and Wizard though, everyone's complaining, which is super interesting.
Yeah, what are they complaining about?
I don't know. It's just they all keep saying that they're bad, they're no good. They're useless. That's what I've been hearing anyways. I heard that the new Awakened Witch is garbage, and that because of all of the damage that's around now, you just die instantly in SA no matter what. I haven't heard too much about Wizard, but it's kind of a similar thing where they're like, yeah, there's just too much damage, so we just die. And then I think the succession specs are just kind of the same as they were before. Not really any big changes, honestly. At least that's what I've been hearing. I don't know if you've been hearing anything different.
I haven't heard that much from Wizards yet, so I don't have a gauge on it. I mean, it definitely, like, everyone's been complaining about the damage in the game, and I'd imagine on Awakened Wizard that probably affects you. On Awakened Wiz Witch, that affects you a lot since you're a lot more stationary. But outside of, yeah, I haven't really heard too many. I haven't heard from them yet.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. Maybe I don't know. Do they just need to tone down the damage in general right now? Is there too much damage?
Yeah, there's definitely too much damage. I think a lot of classes do too much damage right now. It's not every class, because I keep seeing people say that. Like, so for example, if we'll just say whatever random class that's doing obviously too much damage, I keep seeing the people in that class say, no, everyone's doing a lot of damage. And it's like, well, not really. It's definitely a select few that's like wildly above everyone else. But if it gets toned down, I don't think it'll feel as bad. The other thing that's kind of weird is that I was thinking about, oh god, who said it yesterday? Who was mentioning it yesterday? Oh, Hunter. I was talking with Hunter, and he was saying one of the things that sucks is, like, they're gonna have to try to balance with KR being in the new region and us not be. Because here's the thing. We have all this damage and KR has all this damage. But KR at least is about to be able to mitigate some of it with the new Fallen God, which means they're all going to get more DP over there. They're also going to have the new artifacts, which is like, we know at least you could put like 600 HP in the artifacts that we're not going to have. And so my fear is that they're not going to reduce any of this damage, even though they probably should. And like KR might feel a little bit better because they have these new defensive tools that we don't have, or defensive stats. But we're just going to sit here and suffer until we get the fucking new region for like 4 or 5 months, which is scary. Because, like, all right, let's say some Zerker uses Titan Blow on me, right? I mean, how much less damage am I going to take if I have a Fallen God that gives me 200 additional hit points and artifacts that give me another 600 additional hit points? Like, I'm gonna have 3 to 6 more DP on if I have the winter region, which means I probably hit another bracket plus the DR and the stats from the DP itself. Plus the Fallen God helmet gives 200 additional HP. Plus the artifacts, if you just stack the HP on it, gives you another 600. Like, obviously, Titan Blow is not going to look as strong if I have those stats. You know?
Yeah.
So that worries me too, because we might be stuck over here taking full damage without getting those changes. But even then, the other worries, like conversely, is that some of the damage is too high, but because the artifacts, it doesn't seem as high as it actually is. So it just never gets changed when it probably should. That's the other fear. Yeah, that's just running through my head a little bit here.
That's kind of the problem with having all of your different games at different places, like balance and timeline wise.
Yeah,
that very well could happen. But I mean, what do you do at that point? I mean, the obvious answer is like get everything on the same track, right? But for some strange reason, they seem either incapable or unwilling to do that. So, do we just let our game be unbalanced until we get the stuff that KR has, or do we make changes over here until we get the stuff that KR has, and then we revert those changes? Like, what the fuck are you supposed to do?
Yeah, I don't know. All right, let's talk about a few things. Let's put our opinions out here on the line. Which classes do too much damage right now, in your opinion? I'll start. Musa definitely does. Zerker seems to, at least the range stuff. Suck Ranger a little bit confused me because I think even Suck Rangers know that their damage was already good and they just wanted like more tools to defend themselves, I think. But they got a lot more damage. Let's see, what else stands out? Meiwa's damage is pretty nuts, but the difference between Meiwa's, it somewhat feels like they at least have to set it up, kind of. Warriors BSR slashing is fucking insane. Have you got hit by that yet?
Not solely that. Every time I've gotten hit by it, it's been in large scale where I'm also getting hit by other shit.
Yeah, I was like hit by slashing the other day and I was like, that's not too bad. And then I got hit by the BSR one. I was like, okay, that's crazy. What is this?
Well, BSR, is that the 25% or the 50%?
It's 50.
50%? Okay.
Yeah, so it doesn't happen as often, obviously, but I say that, but then every time I fight a warrior, they somehow have it up every time they CC me. So I don't know. I don't know what happened. It feels like they always have that shit up against me for some reason. Just RNG, I guess. Trying to think. Can't picture all the class off the top of my head. I'm trying to go through. I haven't even gotten to test.
Ninja
like,
soon.
I'm sure Suck Mystic damage is crazy, but I haven't gotten to experience it yet. Sork damage is pretty high. I don't know if it's too high compared to these others, but it's definitely really good damage, and it's scary to be around a Sork. And then Archer, I need to do more testing, because a lot of people are saying Archer does too much. I just haven't run into it that much myself. People are saying Witch Wizard Valk. I keep seeing Witch Wizards complaining that their damage is nothing, so I don't know. I see it in like different discords. Lon?
Yeah, I've kind of been hearing the same shit, so I don't know about that one.
Lon keeps crying a lot. Lon keeps crying. I keep hearing people say they're getting like destroyed by Lons too. I also haven't really run into Lon except for Twizzy and RBF, and with RBF DR it kind of screws my... It's hard to tell.
I ran into Twizzy in a Node War, and he clapped my cheeks, but he could do that before the rework, so that's not really... This doesn't really mean anything. Witch and Wizard, I've heard, are pretty lackluster in the damage department. Yeah, I don't know. I think the big ones to me are Musa, Awaken Berserker, Suck Ranger. I feel like those are kind of the big three where I'm like, these are kind of standing out compared to everything else as like, whoa, like that's a lot.
Yeah, Striker feels like it does the same too much damage that it always did to me. Like, I don't know. It's not like doing it as much when Striker's the weird one where I'm actually surprised.
Yeah, so you had on here one of the things that you wanted to ask was classes that you thought would easily be the best that aren't quite there. That's Striker for me.
That's where I am too, because I do think Striker's obviously better than before, and it's strong, and in 1v1 it's really, really scary, and especially for a magic class, it's incredibly oppressive. But based on everyone's reaction and what we saw with the demos and what like a lot of Divios' clips, like it looked like Stryker was going to be this just unstoppable force, and like people are going to. I thought with the amount that people are talking about Musa is all I'd be hearing about Stryker, I guess.
Yep. Same.
So I'm a little bit surprised that that's not the case, just because of how obviously buffed it seemed, you know?
Yeah. I'd love to hear what Divios is thinking, because he was talking constantly about how strong it was on Global Labs.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I think those three. I mean, would you agree that those three are kind of like the standouts as like, whoa, that's way too much damage? Awaken Musa, Awaken Zerker, and Suck Ranger.
Yeah, I think those three stand out the most to me.
I know
Just on
a lot of other
individual
people are
things.
gonna say Archer too, but I don't agree.
Yeah, Archer just is range damage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And range damage sucks, but I don't think Archer is the same type of range damage.
It's not putting out the same damage as Titan Blow, as Musa's, as like Suck Rangers. It's just not. It's putting out range damage and a lot of it, but it's just not on the same level as those other three.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, dude. The thing, I feel bad for Mooses too. It's like they just wanted a little bit of a. Well, here I feel bad, but then also I feel vindicated a little bit because I have been saying since the beginning. I was like, dude, there's a lot of really good things in this Musa rework. Like there just are, and every Musa has told me that it's a nerf. That everything got nerfed. It's just been nerfed. It's been nerfed. It's been nerfed. And then the final nail in the coffin for the nerfs was the 2 weeks before it came to live. They reduced all of the damage buffs on Global Labs by even more. So then people are like, wow, now it's definitively worse than live server. And I'm like,
of
no,
course.
it's really not. And then it comes to live server and it's like crazy.
Yep.
Like pretty fucking crazy, right?
Yeah. It's pretty funny. I was correct, ironically. My original pick, if I remember correctly, was Musa, and then I kind of changed it to Archer. My original guess was correct, and then on my stream the night before the reworks hit, I said, you know why I think Musa's really strong is because the KR Musas have been really fucking quiet, and you know if that rework was bad, they'd be like complaining about it, like you'd never hear the end of it. But they're awfully quiet. There's not a lot of information coming out about Musa from KR. That's a bit suspect.
Yeah, they're doing the thing I'm noticing from now. Again, I don't know what, like I don't have definitive like written down what I would change if I could change anything. I'm not there yet. It's still super early, so I want to see how stuff plays out. And I don't even know what like KR already has planned or not. You know, since like last week, no one really expected Shift E to get nerfed before we even got it. And he got a pretty significant nerf on Archer, so who knows what's going to come out. So I'm like taking the wait and see approach before I say like for sure specifically what's crazy. But yeah, it just feels like you can't use abilities near them. Like they feel a little bit like the comp I keep hearing is like Nova with Excel is just like up all the time.
Yeah, which is a pretty apt comparison, I would say. Because, I mean, they just, you try to do any sort of trade with them, and then you're like, oh, I'm dead. Okay, cool. And there they go. Yeah. Now, what sucks is there's a Musa in my guild who said this. And I think there are a couple other Musas that kind of feel this way. That once you take away the insane amount of damage that they do, they're kind of just going to be right back to where they were before.
Well, okay, but what if it's still better damage than it was before? Because like,
yeah,
it doesn't need to. I would never say it needs to go back to what it was. That's not at all where I'm at. But the reason why I don't agree with that for a couple of reasons is, one, I don't think that they should take it away to where it's like, oh, okay, now it's just got moved back to live. Personally, I think that would be stupid. And then the other thing is they still did get other tools. Like Fiery Crevice AoE is one of these. It's crazy. Like that skill's AoE is pretty wild.
Yeah.
I'm like constantly blown away by it. And it's 6-second cooldown knockdown with a gigantic AoE that lunges you forward. And I don't know. That's still going to be powerful, even if some of the damage isn't as crazy. So I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but
it's going to be interesting to see, because surely they're going to have to nerf it, right? I mean, it's just too powerful right now. So the nerf bat is coming. It's just a question of like what, right?
All right.
Or who knows? Maybe this is going to be another suck wizard situation where we're just going to have the reign of Musas for a year and a half.
I don't know. Here the thing is like, do you think, let's say they reduce the damage on 3 abilities by somewhere between like 5 and 10%, to where it's still a net buff over pre-rework, but it's a nerf over what is currently on live in PvP. Plus, like Fire Angel is now super armor, like their chase works a little bit differently. Fiery Crevice still works the way that it works, and et cetera, et cetera. Like, is it like they saw a projection, the arrow changes are still in place? Is it really going to be worse, or where it was before? I don't think so. And yeah, no, Hemo, you're not wrong. They don't nerf like that. You're right. A lot of the time they don't. But if they did, I think it would be fine. If they just revert it back to the pre-rework, then obviously it's going to be pre-rework. That's goes without saying. But if it gets a minor nerf, is it? I don't know.
I mean, well, maybe some people would disagree with this, but I think Meiwa, at least in terms of large scale, is in a pretty decent spot right now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some absolute like minute like damage nerfs, but like I think it's fine. If they could just figure out how to put Musa on that level with Meiwa,
right?
Or maybe again, like just slightly below where Meiwa is right now, because Meiwa is pretty cracked right now. But it's also all the Meiwas that you see that are like fragging out pretty hard are either A, geared to the teeth, B, are really good Meiwas, or C, kind of both. Like I don't think bad Meiwas are fragging out right now. I think bad Musas are kind of fragging out right now. So
this is one of the things I see a lot. You ready?
Yep.
The reason why people think they see a big difference is because Musa is on the same level as every class now.
No.
Yeah, someone just typed that, and they believe that.
Yeah, no, that's incorrect.
I'm seeing that a lot.
Yeah, that's a weird take. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. That is a strange take. The answer is no, incorrect. It's definitely not on the same level as everyone else. Tamers are not doing the same damage as Musa. So that is very incorrect.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I see that a lot, and I some of them do believe it. Some of them I think are just trying to, like, they hope they don't get nerfed, which I get it. There are some instances where they haven't nerfed like super crazy. Like I think the first set of nerfs on Awaken Nova were pretty moderate. In fact, they didn't even change its damage. Now here's my fear for Musa more than anything.
Over nerf.
Well, not just an over nerf. My fear for Musa is that instead of like toning down the damage a little bit, they're gonna do something fucking dumb with their movement. They're gonna like nerf their movement or stamina, and it's gonna feel
like
miserable.
Change some sort of core mechanic.
Yeah, like I hope that doesn't happen. But that's my fear way more than them lowering the damage too much. Is that they make like, oh yeah, the damage is really nice. So what we decided to do is make chase cost 300 stamina. You know what I mean, or something dumb like that.
Yeah, we made chase like a ninja step. So now you can't use it on cooldown anymore, but it's a 1 second cooldown, so you get 1 chase every second. Something stupid like that. Yeah, that would be bad. They just need a decently sized damage nerf, just like Titan Blow does, and just like Suck Ranger does. I can't tell you what skills on Suck Ranger is doing damage because I've never played that class, but all I know is I see a Suck Ranger, I go, hey, a Suck Ranger, and then I die. So they just need some damage nerfs, and then I think we'll be fine. Again, I think if you just put Musa on the same level as Meiwa, and then if you upped like defenses generally, right? Because everyone's doing too much damage right now. I think if you put Musa on the same level as Meiwa, where they're still able to frag right now, they're still like there's Meiwa's top fragging and like lots of guilds,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just increase defenses generally, I think they'd probably be fine. In all honesty,
Yeah. I could see that.
but who knows? Who knows what they're gonna do? We gotta wait to find out. It's fucking Perlobis roulette.
Dude, it's gonna be completely random, completely RNG.
Yeah, it's gonna be strange.
Every
really
week,
strange.
I think the classes that are feeling really strong right now, every week are gonna be sitting there. Dude, I even on Kuno, man. I don't even think Kuno is anywhere near that level, but I'm still like, man, we're gonna get nerfed because I'm having fun.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Probably.
no, we're definitely gonna
They're
get nerfed
specifically
somewhere.
gonna say, wait, so Frosty's having fun? Oh no, we gotta put an end to that.
It's gonna be somewhere, dude. There's gonna be some nerfs that are gonna make people really unhappy, and it's the worst. It sucks. Even if something is too strong, it always feels bad when you experience it and then it's gone. You know, it's a bad feeling. It's a bad feeling no matter how you do it. Even if it's totally deserved, it always feels bad. Keep getting asked how's Meiwa. Meiwa is really strong right now.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Meiwa's doing good for itself.
How else to put it?
Awakened Meiwa is doing really, really well in large scale. Both Meiwas, if I remember correctly from what Naishi said earlier, are doing pretty well in pretty much every area. But Awakened Meiwa specifically is doing really, really well in large scale, it seems.
Yeah. They're having fun. I think they're having fun. The Awakened ones are, anyway.
Well, they better enjoy it while it lasts.
Meiwa's so different, too. It's like, it's funny because I don't know if, like, the damage seems pretty similar, but it's just the way they apply it is less oppressive and takes more effort, if that makes sense. Maybe because it's frontal cone instead of, like, all over the place. I don't know.
Yeah, giant fucking AoEs the size of goddamn ogres.
That's why I'm not ready to say specifically what should change, because I haven't put my finger on exactly where it is that it feels bad.
I honestly feel like Musa's just doing more damage than Meiwa. I don't know. I've had my cheeks clapped by both Musa's and Meiwa's, and while I don't know the gear score of these individuals, it is 100% of the time I'm getting clapped 5,000% faster on Musa than I am on Meiwa. I fought against a villainous, there's a villainous Musa, I don't remember his name, but he literally, I am not kidding, he 2-skilled me. Like, through my frontal.
Yeah.
And I'm well aware that, like, I'm a gearlet, I'm not C20, and I don't know how much AP this dude had, but, like, Jesus Christ. He used 2 super armor skills, and it killed me standing up at one point. Like, holy shit.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about Shy a little bit? I don't want to leave Shy out. Dread Sparks in chat. Now's the time to pretend that we were planning to talk about Shy.
Yeah. It's right there on the list. I'm looking at it right now.
Okay.
It's right there on the list. We were planning on talking about the whole time. Yeah, let's talk about Shy. What about it?
Dude, I keep hearing that it feels really good in PvE. And I keep seeing clips of people getting killed by Shies in PvP as well.
We have a tag in our Discord. It just says killed by a Shy Omega lol. A lot more people are gonna be getting that tag here soon. Yeah, I can't really speak much to their PvE because the only Shy that's left in our guild, I think, because I think the other 2 have left relatively recently. I don't think he PvEs much. He's just a life skiller. That being said, dude, that skateboard fucking goes, brother.
It really does.
I was trying to kill, or I say kill. I was following a shy, just as you do, and that bitch hopped on that skateboard, gone. I couldn't keep up. They were gone, dude. It was so fast.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. I'm glad they have that. I'm glad they have something that's like fun.
Are you glad? You don't really sound that glad, I'm gonna be honest.
I am glad. I'm glad that they have a fun ability. Even if it's not like iframe, so it's not like, super busted OP. Like, I don't know. I think it's good that they have a fun ability that is like situationally pretty useful.
Yeah. I still think as oppressive as some stuff is, people are having more fun. I think a lot more people feel like their class is actually usable in more situations.
You're talking about just in general?
Yeah, just in general.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, people hate to admit it because obviously we hate BDO, but some people are having more fun. I
think most people are having more fun.
I was surprised by the reaction the day it came out with how many people, especially on classes that everyone was telling me were going to be really, really bad, were coming in saying stuff like, dude, I've not had this much fun in a really long time.
Yeah. Yeah, unless you're like super delusional about the state of your rework and your reaction to your rework is like uninstalling the game or something along those lines. I think you're having a good time right now, generally speaking. Or you're a tamer. Those are the two. Those are the two people that are not having fun.
Oh, why is Tamer not having fun?
So I only know what I've heard from the tamer in my guild from talking to him about it.
Okay.
And he seems to be pretty upset with the state of Tamer.
Did he say what specifically?
He's baffled by the decision to like make it like horse PvP. Like seems to be a lot of the focus.
Oh, is he Succession Tamer?
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
okay, I could see that.
He's completely baffled by that decision, and he's like, if they don't fix this shit, I might not be playing this game for very long. So I don't know. Apparently, so does Awakened Tamer not have that same problem?
Well, it doesn't have any new mounted changes. I think that's all Succession, isn't it? I mean, maybe it is on Awakening, but
I don't play the class.
Useful.
I don't keep up with it, so I couldn't tell you. All I know is what he said about it, and he seems to be he says his combos are very like lackluster, and that basically the only thing that does damage is the rework skills, which he says like sucks because it's his whole thing is like he wants to be able to like do these combos on people. But the only skills that do any damage for him are the rework skills, which don't really fit into his combo super well apparently, and that their bizarre focus on horse combat feels really like what's the word I'm looking for? Like it feels.
You keep saying horse. You mean their pet, right? That's what you're actually referring to.
Both.
Is there really a focus on horse combat? I don't.
They're insane on horses now.
Like roaring is, yeah, but like that's it. I don't think is anything else insane on a horse.
Yeah, I don't know. He was testing it. I was talking to him about it this morning, and he was testing various things. So I didn't get the conclusion on what he felt like about it, but I don't know. He seemed very disappointed in the changes that they got. That weren't like kind of this bizarre focus of like they're either going to be on the pet or on the horse sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Like from the tamers I spoke to, they all said that you can't really do much on a horse. Like you can grind low level spots on a horse really well, or even like Star's End, like the towers. But outside of that, like that's it. The rest is not. Yeah, I don't know.
But even put all the horse stuff aside, I mean, he just said that it's not a super good. Like the rework's pretty underwhelming. He seemed to have the opinion of for Succession Tamer at least. Again,
Yeah.
I don't know about Awakening Tamer. We don't have an Awakening Tamer in our guild.
Someone's asking if I've not seen grinding sulfur on a horse. I have, but that's what I'm saying. Like at trash, like low level trash spots, sure. I guess people forgot that that's how people have been. Tamer's been doing that shit for a long time. If people remember Android 18, who would be running around Manchums grinding on his Tamer, on his horse as well, on Arsha for literally like the entire day, every day. That's not really like even that new. So I don't know. But anyway, yeah, Suck Tamer didn't really get a lot of cool changes. I don't think at all. Like at all. But who knows? I have to I don't know a lot of people that like Suck Tamer to begin with. Like as a style.
Yeah, it's
anyway.
a very small group of people.
Yeah. Yeah. And then yeah, Awakening Tamer. I mean, I don't know. Awakening Tamer is only like a little bit different. Its rework is like it got bigger AoEs, got a little bit more damage on a few abilities, and its mobility is improved. So that's pretty cool. And then it got the tree climb nerf, so it doesn't linger. So overall, it's just like better, but it's not like dramatic. Like it's not a dramatic change. Oh, and they got some range CCs. I did see there's been some bugs. I've run into a lot of like interesting. I don't know if they're bugs or intended or what, but for example, I was watching Len's stream. Len plays. He mains Tamer, and he was like messing around with Void Lightning, and for him, like Void Lightning was only CCing on the very last hit, which was kind of weird. And then on hold on one sec. So yeah, he was I don't know, he was having a hard time with Void Lightning. I noticed yesterday I was messing around with Bear in Global Labs in Battle Arena, and the disc was not knocking me back like ever, like the Sork disc explosion. So every like 10 discs, it would knock me back like maybe 2 times, which was very weird. And then like Delighted Blast on Kuno, which is like notorious for getting around your frontal guard, is weird because like my friend Luna came in and was like, hey, like, did you notice Delighted Blast doesn't CC behind frontals anymore? And I was like, oh, that's crazy. Like I guess that's a pretty alright change because it's pretty hard to deal with if you use frontal guard. But the thing is that's weird is, so I was testing it yesterday, I was showing Bear, and like the first 5 times, it didn't go behind his frontal guard, it didn't CC him. And then for some reason, 100% of the time after that, it did. So now I'm just even more confused.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's just bugging out or what. It was very, very odd. But those 3 things in general, like Void Lightning, Disc, and then Delighted. I'm sure there's more things, and I still can't Half Moon Slash to the side and C-swap for some reason. That's just bugged and weird. I didn't think that would come to live server, but they brought that bug to live server.
Ah, dude, that's intentional. What do you mean? That's an intentional design choice.
Yeah, I guess so.
Maybe an unpopular opinion. I can't stand multi-hit CCs.
Yeah. Any in particular?
Spiral Cannon, Spiral Torpedo, the disc, anything where I block it and then I get CC'd anyways.
Wait, what disc? Oh, the disc got changed though. The disc doesn't do that now.
Well, that's good. Now I'll do it with everything else.
You're talking about Sork disc,
shit.
right? Sork disc?
Yeah.
Yeah, the disc doesn't do that anymore. Yeah.
Like if I block a CC, it should be done. I blocked it. Why am I blocking a CC and still getting CC'd? Why did I bother blocking it? It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, the disc one was annoying. I'm glad it doesn't do that anymore.
I don't know. Probably an unpopular opinion, but I fucking hate that shit. Alright. Well, Is that it for rework stuff? Or we want to talk about the BSR change now on GLabs? Because I mean, we're going to be going a lot more in depth with all the rework stuff on the anniversary episode
with individual people. So
yeah, with people who actually know what they're talking about. So
the experts
team.
Even though all I do is talk about SA block during all the reworks. Sure. All right. So Global Labs, they got the winter region. They got Labreska helmet. They got the Black Star offhand. They show a little sample image of what Black Star offhand looks like on a Nova, which it looks pretty nuts. Very cool. Most classes, it won't look this cool because most classes have a kunai.
Ooh, that does look good.
Yeah. And then let's see. So they made a BSR chain. So here's what they said. When using skills that use 100% or 200% of Black Spirit Rage, it has been improved to obtain the following effects. So if you use a 100%, you will basically gain the absorption buff, the 30 AP, 25% cast speed, attack speed, for 40 seconds. That's how it is, at least on Global Labs in this test. If you use the 200%, you get the 200% version, which is 50 and 40%, respectively. And their note is the Black Spirit Rage skill feels like a kind of special move and was created with the intention of delivering exhilarating action during battle. However, right now it's more efficient to receive and maintain the absorption buff than Black Spirit Rage skill, so I adjusted the Rage skill to use a little more. Now when you use the 100%, 200% Black Spirit Rage skill, you can gain the effect of the Rage buff for 40 seconds. Increasing the duration of the buff effect to 60 seconds is also being considered, and while it's not applied Black Desert Research Lab today, the damage of Black Spirit Rage 100% and 200% for each class will be adjusted. With these updates, we hope that you will be able to play like a protagonist of an action movie at least once when fighting. I think they're referring to, what's the Keanu Reeves series?
The Matrix?
No, the other one.
John Wick?
John Wick, yeah. They want us to feel like John Wick at least once in our lives. All right, your thoughts on the initial change before we talk about what might change after.
So I think we actually disagree with this based on the small discussion we had before the podcast started. I actually don't know if this is really going to change much. I think you're still going to have, this is going to be a buff to the people that use their BSRs because now they also get the other thing. And it's going to be a nothing change to the people who don't use their BSRs because their BSRs are still fucking trash. And they'd rather have the 20 extra seconds of the rest of that buff.
Yeah. I mean, I think for the most part that's true, but there are some classes where it's like the only reason you're not using it is because absorption is better, and since this just gives you both, they now can use it and not feel bad about it.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, I mean, I don't know, like, sometimes you see Awakened Guardian use theirs as an engager to try to get a feed or whatever, and now it's like, it's kind of really no reason not to, because you still get 40 seconds of the buff. On Awakened Kuno, like, I never use it, so I usually absorb 100% of the time on Awakened Kuno, but I would probably use the pre-Awaken ult if it meant I'm still getting this buff anyway.
What even is Kuno's pre-Awaken ult?
It's flash slash, so they just like go in the air and come out like 3 times, 4 times.
Yeah, but isn't that still kind of garbage because it locks you in SA for a really long time?
Well, it's like SA iframe, SA iframe, SA iframe. Like you iframe in between each teleport. So it's not like the worst thing in the world, and like every time it CCs and does damage in AoE, so it's like in a group setting, it's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like, I don't know if like a ninja
I'm just
would
thinking
use
about the classes that I play, right? Where it's like, okay, Archer 100%, like no. And would I use it if I could get 40 seconds of the buff, or would I rather just consume it? To be perfectly honest, I'd probably just consume it. I don't know. Like I haven't played Archer in a long time, so maybe I'm off on that, but my gut reaction is like I'd rather just consume it and get the extra 60 seconds. On Witch, again, been a long time since I played Witch, but I still think I'd prefer just to consume it rather than use the kind of shitty BSR that doesn't really do much and get 40 seconds of the buff. I just feel like that extra 20 seconds is probably going to be better than using the ult that kind of locks me into an animation that I'm just going to die in.
Yeah. No, I mean that makes sense on a class where it's not good. But don't you guys use the pre-awaken ult ever or not ever on Zerk? Is it only good
Zerker?
Yeah.
Pre-awaken ult? In Awakening?
Yeah.
No, not really. I mean, I do sometimes because I don't know, various reasons. I think I'll be more helpful just trying to be a CC bot than like consuming it or whatever. But I think most Zerkers know they're not using their pre-awaken 100 like ever, because again, it locks you into an animation that you can't cancel out of, if I remember correctly. Actually, maybe you can with the rework version, but I don't know. It's always been like you're better off consuming it and then doing other things than using your pre-awaken 100.
Yeah. Well, they also said they're considering moving it up to 60 seconds. In that case, then what's the story here? There's no point in absorbing, right? Unless your ult actually gets you killed.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Then at that point, it's just, do you consume it because your ult's just gonna kill you, or try and go for it? I don't know. It'll basically just come down to that question for each person. Because like, for you, getting locked into an SA animation, not a big deal. Like, because you're C20. For me, McGearlet over here, very big deal, big problem, big no. I'll die if I get locked into an animation that's longer than like a second and a half. So it's just gonna depend on each person's class, each person's BSR, and each person's gear level, basically.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I think it's fine if it's like that, because then it just comes down to like, I don't know. It's not really choice necessarily, but you kind of get to pick. Like, okay, do I want to consume it and use my regular skills, or do I want to try and make something out of my 100% BSR?
Yeah, one of the things that's interesting is they said they're gonna. This is probably the fourth time they've said this and done this. But they said they're gonna increase the damage of BSR 100% to 200% for every class. You're into this idea?
Of buffing 100%? The damage, that is?
Mm-hmm.
So it comes with an asterisk, though. And that asterisk is really fucking important. I'm okay with buffing BSRs as long as we get rid of that godforsaken transfer ability. I think transfer is really bad for the game, honestly. I think it makes it almost impossible to like balance BSRs. I think it's just very not fun for the people that don't have good ults to just have to go, oh, before the fight starts, I have to go find the fucking Valk or find the Zerker and give them my BSR. It's just like another like checklist thing that I have to do. Transfer just needs to go, honestly. And if transfer goes, then at that point, I would probably be fine with them buffing the weaker BSRs. I wouldn't have any problem with it. Now, obviously, I don't think they need to buff Valk ult, like obviously. But like, you're telling me which ult can't be better? Like which 100%, the Archer 100%, like these 100%s that you never see them use because they're just dog shit. Like, yeah, I'm fine with buffing those. Absolutely, I have no problem with that as long as we get rid of transfer.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing is with the rage transfer is like any mechanic where you have to spam in chat all node war and annoy everyone, it probably shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah, right. You have to have a copy pasta so that people see a giant fucking like elephant or some shit over your head, so they're like, "Ah, oh, there he is."
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I guess like I don't know. I gotta see what they do. It'd be funny if It'd be funny if they made it like give you the buff, like the full absorb buff, and they nerfed all the 100% damage. So it's like it only does a little bit of damage, but you get the rage absorb buff. They didn't technically they didn't say they're buffing it. They only said they're changing it.
Yeah. So you brought up something interesting before we started the podcast when we were kind of having this discussion about like, does every 100% have to do like a bunch of damage? And like, I'm kind of with you on in that boat of like, yeah, like we don't need to have every BSR do like a ton of damage. Maybe they can do different things. Because your concern, correct me if I'm wrong, but your concern is just adding even more. Your concern is giving every single class and every single spec Valcult, basically. That's what you're worried about.
Yeah, that's what I don't want. I don't want everyone to Valcult me on every single class. That's all.
And I mean that makes sense because that's a very oppressive ult, right? So like, I think that going down the road of like, or at least entertaining the thought of, does every ult have to kill like 3 to 5 people like Valcult does typically, right? I think that's a smart way to do it, honestly. But then again, would they even be willing to entertain that idea because this is an Eternity game and yada yada yada, you know?
Yeah, well, I don't know how other Kunos feel about it, but I actually really like Succession Kuno's ult in its current form because it lets you move around and it does a little bit of damage, but it also just is super good for CCing groups. And it's like a really good group play ult. The only reason I don't really use it is you need like a little bit of a setup and your ball has to be ready to attack, so you have to time it, and then you don't get the cool 60 seconds of AP buff after. So if I'm getting that power, like that ult is going to be super fun to use in wars. But Awakening, the pre-Awakening ult is just a really shitty version of the Succession ult, and then the Awakening ult, I don't know what it does. It's just, it makes bell noises and doesn't really do damage, and you're not really worried about CC, and it somehow slows you down. It's like a self-slow debuff. I accidentally 100%ed someone the other day in large scale, and it like literally did less damage than just going Moonstorm spin. So I regretted so much casting it. I was sad. The Wheel of Wrath ult. So yeah, I don't know. And also that ult's like not fun. I don't know why it slows you down. It's like so weird. Like, you know how like some skills have that weird slow motion effect that makes you feel like you're slow debuffing yourself? There's like a few of them in the game. That's one of them. Another one is also on Kuno's Rabomb, the ankle splitter, the newer third Rabomb that actually does a little bit of damage. It's like, it like has like a slow motion effect that leaves you just like stuck. It's weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess if everyone has a chance to kill everyone, no one can complain about balance with their ults, you know?
But hear me out, Frosty. Hear me out. Right? So everyone does a lot of damage right now, right? Like everyone does so much damage, right?
Most people, yeah.
Yeah, 90% of the classes do so much damage, right? They buff BSRs to do even more damage, right? So now on top of regular skills doing half your HP, you have BSRs doing 100% of your HP, right? And then, and this is very important, hear me out. Pants.
We're not getting pants. We got a snowboard. We're not getting pants. We have a snowboard. I'm sorry.
I'm holding out for the pants idea. I forget how many years ago you brought up pants, but I'm holding out for it. Pants are coming, baby. Pants are coming.
Yeah. I imagine someone's asking if you get the buff before the BSR. I imagine right when you cast it, you'll have the buff.
Yeah, probably.
So you'll probably get the attack and AP like the moment you use your ult. Which will be interesting because up until now, no one's ever been able to ult with their Z buff up, or at least unless you had 200% and you rage absorbed 100%, and then ulted like during the rage absorption period. But
or you consume and then spam your fucking ASCII chat spam thing to get more people to run over and give you rage, and then you run in 100.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening with that. They always like. I feel like every 6 months to a year, they decide we should do something with 100%.
And then they just don't.
And it's always crazy. And then they make some changes, but it's like, I don't know, not that impactful.
They don't actually like fix anything.
Yeah. I did want to point out this one Ninja note. So there was a blue note underneath Ninja that said, currently we are aware of the phenomenon that the damage of Ninja's Serpent Ascension skill is being applied lower than the intended damage, and improvements to the skill will be immediately reflected on the official server during maintenance in each region. So I'm guessing, I don't know if we have this change or not on live. I haven't tested Ninja, but I assume on Wednesday, Serpent Ascension's going to feel a little bit more normal. Right now it seems like inconsistent. I'm not sure if it's like it always does low damage, because there's sometimes where I just get deleted by it, and then sometimes like, yep, that did nothing. And I don't run evasion, so that inconsistency is kind of weird.
Yeah. I don't think that change has gone through yet. But yeah, it's I think ninjas are about to be right up there with the other 3 classes that we mentioned. Serpents, we're going back to the ye old 1 Serp days.
Yeah.
So you'll have Musa, you'll have Suck Ranger, you'll have Titan Blow, and then you'll have Serpent Ascension. That's just like absolutely dominating everyone, basically.
Yeah. So that's kind of good. Could have got addressed. And then some Tamer stuff. They're gonna allow you to ride your pet longer. You know. I'm kidding.
Oh yeah, that's what they wanted.
Just trying to upset your friend. All right. You want to do the comments? Are you down to read them?
I can read them. Absolutely.
By the way, how was your?
I'm getting my seasonal character power leveled at trees right now. So.
How was your family's Christmas?
It was good. How was your Christmas? Did you have a good time?
Yeah, I did. We had a weird event at our Christmas take place. We're all sitting in the living room, and randomly one of our light sockets, or like not light sockets, our power outlets, just started like sparking and exploded. It was scary as fuck.
Huh.
It was literally like just completely random. It just started sparking and exploded, and we were like, what the fuck? It was like out of nowhere. It was like around 5 p.m. too. It was scared the fuck out of us. We had to like turn the power off and like pull out the outlet and put like electrical tape on all the lines until an electrician goes out, because randomly that whole side of the wall, like the outlets aren't working anymore.
And this is at your house?
It was at my parents' house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was just like, that's so fucking weird. It was scary because it was like flashing bright, and like luckily nothing was next to it to like catch fire, but if it was like a blanket or a curtain or something, it was like that would have been an ordeal, you know?
Yeah, really. That's good that you guys were like there. I mean, I know it was probably like what the fuck scary, but it's probably good that you were there so you could like, you know, fix it, or not fix it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It started. Everyone was just like, "Man, I wonder. Maybe I should go check on my house. I hope my house is okay." Yeah, I don't trust outlets. I gotta unplug my computer every night.
Alrighty, I got the comments pulled up here. My Christmas was good. Visited with family. Went to one side of the family Christmas Eve, and then the other side of the family Christmas Day. I injured myself at some point, so I can't walk right now. So that's fun. Yeah, I don't know. It was a good Christmas. I got some nice presents, some clothes, gift cards, all kinds of good stuff. So, you get anything good? You get anything interesting?
No, I mean, actually, we got a lot of gift cards. Oh, we got I have Sour Patch Kids. I got a lot of Sour Patch Kids and Twizzlers.
Hell yeah, brother!
And I love Sour Patch Kids and Twizzlers. So. There's that. Yeah, but it was fun. It was fun seeing family and stuff, the usual, and then listening to my parents argue and bicker, and then making me feel like, all right, time to go. We've been here long enough.
Did you have that uncle that is like super political and like politically incorrect?
No. We didn't. It was mostly like immediate family and then significant others. So
okay,
it wasn't
okay,
too.
okay.
There was only like 8 of us or 10 of us there.
Yeah. That uncle is always there at all my family events that I go to. Cause it's me. I'm that uncle. Hello. All right, let's get into the comments. That's my senpai says first that you are. Sunfox PL1 says can't wait for the rework commentary. Well, you got first reactions today, and then as we mentioned earlier, anniversary podcast, 3-year anniversary, going to be coming out in early to mid January, where we're going to go a lot more in depth on each class, bringing on guests to that know what it's about. So, yeah, hold out for that, I suppose, because that's going to be a lot more interesting than us just saying things that we've heard from our friends and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Lil Pork Chop says, sorry to hear about the power outages you guys had. It was worth the wait, though. I'm mad that Wukong isn't next, but I'll just cope with Archer rework until then. Yeah, man, that Wukong thing was such a bait. Holy shit.
It was so good, dude.
It was so good. Oh, if only it was like on April Fools or something. That could have been such a good April Fools. Oh man, I am so sorry for how I'm going to pronounce this name. Jiahui Lin? I don't know. No graphs or stat tables for this ball like previous ball. Sag. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Actually, they were kind of lacking in the interesting statistics department that they've had kind of at every one of these.
Yeah. Well,
I wonder what's up with that.
Maybe none of them are good this year. You know.
They're just bad. It's all bad stats for the last ball, so they didn't have any.
They should do fun stats, like how many people died to Serpent Ascension in 2021, or how many people survived Kide's rampage during fishing events.
Yeah.
Should have fun.
That'd be an interesting stat. How many people Kide kills at each fucking at each what do they call it? The oh god, why am I blanking on that event now? What's the name of that event? The
Termian event.
Yes, Termian Water Park. Thank you. Yes. God, I don't know why I was struggling with that.
How much silver did Succession Lawn generate in 2021?
How much silver has Biohack lost over the course of the last year?
Yeah, there's some fun ones they could have done, man.
Adele Monette Rivera says, I was hoping that Blackstar Offhand will have a reverse stats of Nuver, where AP becomes DP, DP becomes AP. Has the same more monster AP from Kudum. Disappointed how uncreative the new Offhand Blackstar is. Like the new Fallen God Helm, just add everything to it. Plus HP, plus resist, plus monster DR. ... I'm not sure. Is there read more there option?
No, I don't see any more.
Okay. So I think that's it.
Yeah, I get that. I'm just not really surprised by it because it's like Blackstar historically is the same stats with Monster AP.
Yeah, they have no idea what to do with Blackstar. Unfortunately, the Blackstar gear is the redheaded stepchild of this game. Unfortunately,
dude, someone brought up a good one. How much good stuff your pets left behind in 2021?
Oh, that would have been a good one. Spectrum says, take a shot for every time Roslar says concerned. Well, I'm a very concerned person, okay? What's wrong with that?
Mm-hmm.
I have concerns. Zero says, arenas, especially if we get a ranked system and done right, could be the saving grace for BDO. Also, give people the option to make good money out of PvP. If not RBF, then do it for ranked arenas and then capture mode. To clarify, I don't mean orc level silver per hour, but something way less than that, so it doesn't force players to do it for better silver per hour in comparison to grinding / active life skills, etc. Last thing, Dragon Darker Knight win. Gotta wait and see. Frosty will probably reroll to it. The last like 5 classes, he's been like, that's my new main.
Yeah, it'll probably be the sickest class I've ever seen, without a doubt.
And then he plays it for a week, and then he gives up and he goes back to Kuno.
All right,
Except in the case of Hash, he had a reunion with Hash later down the road.
I know,
because you played
so
Hash,
weird.
and then you gave up on Hash, and then you went back to it. And now it's like your mistress with Kuno.
It is kind of weird. Yeah, the first week of Hash, I was like, yeah, I guess this isn't for me. I didn't like Suck or Awakening. And then when I went back, I was just like, I love this class. This is crazy. I did stay on Awaken Corsair for a while from launch until right around when the bombs came out. I stopped playing it, but Awaken Corsair I had a decent time on for a while, mostly because it was like the first ranged class I really spent a whole lot of time on.
Right.
But, yeah.
JJ Carver says, Frosty, Zerkers can't ride alpacas because it'll break their alpaca. Me turns off stream.
It's so true, though.
Oh, no. Caleb McBain says, yo, I love hearing these during my workday. Surprised your channel isn't bigger than it is. Well, we don't know. Frosty, do you actually have the ability to get the statistics on how many people listen to the MP3 versions?
I mean, I can get varying stats from different things, but anyone that copies the feed link, I get 0 stats on that.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard because so I upload the YouTube version, the video version, but then Frosty handles the entire MP3 side of things. And so while YouTube is pretty clear about like who watches / listens to the podcast, on the MPC side of things, it's not nearly as clear. So who knows? Yeah. We don't actually know how big our audience is, to be perfectly honest.
It's our family, mostly.
Yeah, mostly our family. Because we have Frosty Stream, which pretty regularly, I would say, gets at least like, I don't know, what would you say like minimum the podcast gets on your stream? I'd say like 600-700 at least, like every stream.
Yeah, lately. I mean, it's up and down. I don't know. It's pretty RNG, depending on. There's a lot of AFK people just collecting their drops, you know?
True, very true. And then you get like hosted and rated and stuff. Plus, who knows how many of those people go and like also watch / listen to the podcast like later. I don't know, it's hard to tell exactly how big our audience is kind of the point. The Accord Ninja says people are gonna hate the puzzle room PvE spot. Too much thinking in my BDO. New monster DR if they want harder spots than crypt to be even remotely survivable. Artifacts are neat. Artifacts are neat.
Dude, it's interesting. On the 29th is when KR is getting the winter region, so we'll be able to see, hopefully, what all these artifacts are. Hopefully we get some screenshots and BDO codecs and breakdowns of every single stat that you can get from the artifacts and the lightstones.
Yeah.
And their set effects, because they said there's different set effects depending on the combination of lightstones you use, so I'm really curious like how many of those actually exist.
Right. Deadly, or I guess Deadly-000 says a PA just wasting time and res for pure shit content. What and res? What and PA wasting time and resources? PA wasting time and resources for pure shit content.
True.
I don't know. I'm so hesitant to say that any content is shit because like someone's gonna enjoy something, right?
I have to point that someone said it's interesting to see how strong other classes are from their main's point of view rather than potion shop grinding Baragi for 5 minutes and calling them S tier.
Oh no.
I don't know why that's so funny to me. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wonder what he's referring. Is he referring to the reworks?
I think he's probably referring to like the ice fishing and the alpacas. You know, I feel like that's probably what it's in reference to. But like, I mean, that content's not for me, and I hate that there's not more resources being dedicated to things that I like and that I want to see, like be more successful. But at the same time, I'm so hesitant to say that that's shit content because someone's gonna like it. It's not me. It's definitely not me. But like someone's gonna enjoy it.
I'll definitely AFK ice fish if you can. I'm a big AFK fisher, dude. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it'll be good money. Maybe it'll be permanent Termian koi fishing if you go ice fishing AFK. Kagri Yapir ? Says finally Archer can kill from range.
Yeah.
I just don't like. Was Archer really that bad?
No, it wasn't. But
as someone who played Archer, like collectively 2 different times, I played Archer for 1.5 years. Like, sure, there were times where I couldn't kill people, but like I felt like it was fine for the most part. A little lackluster, but like I could kill people. I don't know. The hyperbolic nature of people in regards to their classes is really crazy. The Spoon Elite says, "What the fuck is CR?" Castle Ruins. We probably should have made that clear. That's our bad.
Yeah, Castle Ruins. And by the way, thanks to the reworks, Kuno can finally move.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic, dude. Thankfully, we can finally move around. It's crazy.
Yeah, Kuno couldn't move before the reworks. Literally not possible.
That's right.
Musassin says, "What if it's a treasure room full of Afuarus from different regions that can drop all types of loot? All types of loots. You can get leaves, force spheres, etc. Basically, how goblins work in D3." And then he says, "Edit one artifact for a second core skill. Fuck yes."
No.
No, I also say no.
I like
I say
first,
fuck no.
I like the first sentence. That sounds fun, but fuck no on artifact giving you a second core skill. What?
That's rough for Afuaru, man. It's Afuaru genocide, brother.
Yeah. If it's like the gold, I mean, I'm into it if it's like the gold portal room in D3, though. Those are fun.
Yeah.
We just get a whole bunch of shit.
Don't they kind of already have that with the treasure chest and the treasure hunters from the Rift Echoes for season stuff? Where they kind of like spawn from the chest and then they run away and you have to go chase them down and kill them.
I don't run them, so I don't know. Maybe.
Well, that's right. You're too good for season activities.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I usually do it to get fail stacks and then I'm done.
Metheosaur says, "Why would you still grind? They are capping all the content 2 years into the past. You guys are going to make a vid with revamped TLDRs. I did watch the introduction to the Global Labs for classes, but they patched them like 10 times after and have no idea about the current state of stuff." Yeah, we're going to do another tier list because I've seen other people ask this too. There's going to be another tier list at some point after the reworks are out and everything's said and done. I'm not going to say when because we haven't even begin to approach that topic because we got to get through the anniversary first and we got to give everyone time to kind of like get a feel for everything, but there will be a tier list soon. TM. Frosty?
Yeah.
Anything?
No, everything's different. Matthias, play the game. Also, I don't know. I'm not into this whole like there's no point in grinding because everything's capped. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really get that either.
Yeah. Oh, also for the record, that guy. Now I know Zachy Skip is just cracked in and of himself, but he posted this archer plays in. Actually, don't know what region he plays in. Maybe he plays in NA, maybe he doesn't. But he posted an archer grind video, and he's been posting these, which is why now like every time an archer tells me. Or pre-rework, every time an archer is telling me that their rework or that their PvE is bad, I'm like, is it though? Because this dude is pulling like 22k at orcs already with like 290 kudum. But now, what was his video recently? Let's see. He put up another one. I have to find it. I forgot where he posted it, but he put up a video. Did he DM it to me? I can't find it now. But he put up a video of post rework archer, and he's getting he got like 28k trash or 27k. With a yellow loot scroll, so it's pretty nuts in PvE.
Yeah, I've heard the grind is really good now. Post rework, really good.
Yeah, I think it might be kind of sweaty, but if you're into try hard grind, it's really good.
Yeah. Lost Soul says, "Hype for hash reworks. Lost Ark is really fun. PvP is more balanced than BDO. Might just be the gear cap. I don't know, but I already bought the $100 pack." Is Lost Ark PvP more balanced than BDO?
I mean, you're gonna get varying opinions from different people. I've spent a lot of time trying to get some opinions on this, and I would say for the most part the answer is no. It's pretty not balanced, and people are upset about it. But this year is supposed to be different. A big part of their presentation this year was that they were going to do balancing because there's been balance issues for a long time there. It's been more balanced in that it's equalized gear. It's not really more balanced in the class-to-class differences. There's some classes that just completely dominate other classes, similar to every other game in the world.
Yeah. Also, apparently he's liking the hash reworks because I've been seeing him playing a lot more lately. So apparently he's been enjoying them. or Reworks. I guess they weren't reworked. They just got some changes. But Ms. Ghouls says the shy crap is annoying. The race dressed like every other person in the game, but the devs were hell bent on turning the class into a creepy dress up doll with little practical use.
Well, yeah, okay. I don't even know. What does that refer to? They're into a creepy dress up doll? I don't even know what that's referring to. But yeah, I could see the frustration.
Yeah, I guess it's just their feeling is that they're treating Shy more like a doll, in their words, rather than like an actual class. So they're just frustrated. I think that's what this is. Jay Adams says, honestly, I expect a hot spring area like Monster Hunter for the winter region. That'd be sick as fuck, actually. I'd be down for that.
What is that, where you get like AFK EXP or whatever? It's a hot spring area.
No, so so in Monster Hunter there's a in the Iceborne expansion there's the winter map, right? And the winter map you take damage similarly to BDO if you don't have what's called a hot drink. Which it functions slightly differently, but it's kind of the same idea as getting hypothermia in BDO and having to drink the hot tea or whatever. But there's a in the winter region in Monster Hunter, there's certain areas where there's these hot springs that you can go into to shield yourself from the damage from like hypothermia or whatever. And also, if you sit in it for a little while, it actually gives you like a buff and like some resistance against it or something along those lines. That's just kind of interesting. It's like a little sub area where you get like a little buff and things. I don't know. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Lincoln Johnson says, when I listen to the podcast, you guys are referencing your point of view strictly from a PvP vision. However, it is my belief that most people that play this game do it for the PvE/life skilling/RP. Now, I am not saying PvP isn't important, but it isn't everything. Maybe invite PvE type players in your podcast. You guys mocked alpaca/ice fishing, but I know people that are genuinely excited about it. I'm not dogging on your podcast because I think it's great, but try to look at the positive on every concept. One last point, most people quit this game because they have no faith in the developers. Tons of content promised, but their time frame is scuffed. How do you motivate friends when they don't trust the game? Case in point, Final Fantasy XIV massively popular. One of the reasons is that the developers really care. Merry Christmas, keep up the great work.
All right, a couple things. One, I don't think it's your responsibility to motivate friends to play the game. It's a game. If they want to play it, they should play it. If they don't, they don't. I don't think it's like your job to promote people to play the game if they're like burnt out or don't think it's fun or they don't like the content coming out.
Yeah, I think it's actually counterproductive to try to like convince them to like stick around and stuff.
Yeah. And two, I'm actually completely baffled by the start of this because am I not always harping on PvE like and how important it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't understand what that's about. Like when we had so throughout the entire Reworks, every single guest that we had on, we spent a huge amount of time talking about the PvE for those classes as well. So I don't know. I'm not really sure what he's referring to. I don't just look at it strictly from a PvP vision. In fact, quite the opposite. To me, PvE is incredibly important because it's such a major part of the game. So I take exception.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's referring to. Unless he's talking about even Nayashe, like we talked about PvE. Yeah, so I'm actually super confused about that.
Yeah, we spend a pretty good amount of time trying to talk about PvE stuff. Life skilling, less so. None of us life skill.
Well, partly because life skilling hasn't really changed. There's no changes to life skilling lately.
I would say I would be willing to have a life skilling like guest on again because we've had one before. I think we've had a couple before. If there were some major changes to life skilling, which they said that they would do, but then have kind of gone back on that. I don't know. So yeah, if life skills were to get like a big update, then we'd be happy to bring on someone who life skills to talk about the changes. But until then, I don't really think there's much of a point to bring them on. As far as RPing goes, I think that you just kind of tacked on RP to the end. I don't think there's a very big RP community in BDO at all. I think the RP community in BDO compared to other games like Final Fantasy or WoW is incredibly small. Because there doesn't appear to be a lot of tools for RPers in BDO. A lot of the things that other games have that like kind of incentivize that, like just hanging out with your friends, shooting the shit, RPing, doing whatever you're doing inside your head. It doesn't really have a lot of that kind of stuff. It feels like. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but that's what it seems like. Like for instance, like one of the most basic things is like a dance function, right? Like every MMO has a dance except for this one. Like some of the very basic things that I think RPers kind of look for is not in this game. So I think that's a really small community that you just kind of tacked onto the end. So we do talk about PvE. Life scaling hasn't changed like at all since like we last kind of talked about it really. And RPers are a very small community. And at the end of the day, it's not like, again, maybe we were a little too vitriolic about it last episode, but it's not like we believe that this content shouldn't exist. I mean, Frosty, do you think alpacas shouldn't exist and ice fishing should not exist?
If alpaca is strictly only for shy, then I don't really understand it. I'll be honest. But if it's just like a kind of an RP mount in the winter region, like these snow alpacas, then fine. I'm not like against it. But if it's like, hey, by the way, one class can RP on this one mount in this one area, then it seems like a waste.
Right. What about like ice fishing?
I mean, the ice fishing is fun. I didn't actually shit talk the ice fishing because I will partake in the ice fishing.
What about
in fact, it's going to be a primary part of my gameplay.
Probably the most egregious.
The snowboarding is just disappointing because it's like there's no new mounts, and I think people would be excited about a different type of mount. And that one was just like, I'm sure it'll be kind of fun for a little bit, but I don't know. Riding a bear would have been more fun.
But do you think that the snowboard should just not exist?
No, I think it's fine to throw in. To get everyone excited about a new mount and then show that snowboard was weird.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying is it's like, it's not like we don't believe that these things should exist because we don't like them. It's just that I think mostly it's just confusion about the decisions being made. So I don't know. It's whatever. But whatever. Everyone's entitled to their own opinions. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. The Blackia says they made the surf animation for Shy and then they decided to give them to everyone because it's less work. Is it the same animation? I don't think it was the same animation, was it? Actually, it might have been, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
Everyone? Wait, give them everyone? What is he
saying?
Did
they give the snowboarding... Is the snowboarding animation just the Shy skateboarding animation?
What Shy? Oh, the snowboarding? Oh, you like the actual snowboard mount thing?
Yeah, I think that's what they're saying, is that they just took the animation and then Control-C, Control-V'd it onto the other classes to make the snowboard.
I haven't compared and contrasted, but I mean, there's not that many ways to ride a snowboard. Your feet are usually strapped.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, just like that, just a weird thing to be mad about. Like, totally nitpicky. It's crazy. I don't know.
The snowboard thing is just so strange. That decision was very, very confusing. Especially since the lead up to that reveal was like...
Yeah,
everyone thought we were getting a new mount.
It would be one thing if it was like, by the way, this winter region's going to have a bunch of mini games. Like, you could snowboard and do some mini games. There's some gambling you could do in some cafes or something like that. But it was just like, we added a new mount. Like, I don't even know why you'd call that a mount. It's like a mini game. It's like, are you really going to use it to get around? Like, how often are you going to be at the tip top of that mountain going down?
It may have been a mistranslation. Who fucking knows? Maybe they didn't actually say mount in Korean, but when it got translated, it went from whatever it was to mount. Who fucking knows?
True.
It's strange. Swee says, Frosty, please ask PA to rework Awaken Mystic, please. It's an incredible class, nice animation, super cool / smooth skills, so fun to play. It did have a good and promising start in the rework initially. Yeah, that's one way to put it. But then it got overlooked, abandoned, and then nerfed. All she needs is just damage increase slightly, AoE slightly increase, and animation buff. I would like Dragon to come out every time I use the skills. Even if it doesn't do the full pet damage every time, it'll feel more impactful visually. Sorry for the rant. PS, I honestly think every class should have some animation rework. I bet many people are hyped for new animations. It's only fair if everyone gets it.
Yeah,
I like it. It did have a good and promising start. Awakened Mystic was insanity when it released.
I think they meant start to the rework.
Oh, to the
start
rework.
in the
okay.
rework. Yeah, they said in the rework.
I thought they meant like when the class came out. Like,
yeah.
dude.
I mean, for me, yeah, obviously animations would be cool for every class that didn't get them, like Kuno. But I don't think it needs I mean, like Sui's saying, like a rework, like it needs a whole nother rework. It just needs damage on Sea Burial and Wave Orb, and then change Wave Orb to work the way Succession does, where it doesn't have a CC and it's fully protected. And if those two skills had damage, like I think the class would actually feel pretty good overall. Unfortunately, those skills don't have damage. And maybe even Gushing Waters could use a tiny damage buff. But I don't know.
Acheron Eclipse says, as a veteran NA/EU Korean MMO player, Lost Ark delaying content and classes doesn't bother me none. I'm used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Korean MMOs are rough for NAE players, unfortunately. Something Void says, what if the tag event became kind of staple, like not completely free tag, but maybe goes hard cap to around 1 bill? Wouldn't it alleviate the class balance problems? I know it's been pretty nice for me, at least, with the event. As a DK I run in the class, I have almost 0% chance to win, being able to retag into a grab class. So I have been bitching much less, and it feels so much better about matchups. It would make a bunch of money when costumes. I think money with costumes, I think it was supposed to be.
That doesn't alleviate any class balance problems whatsoever, no?
Yeah, no, it just kind of like sidesteps it. It doesn't really like solve anything. It's just kind of like, I don't know. That's like saying there's a crash in the road and I solved it by going down a different road. It's like, well, no.
I would love if they made it cheaper to tag. But it has nothing to do with balance. It doesn't solve any balance. Changing class is not a solution to balance.
Yeah.
Problems.
And that's it. That's awesome.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm with Ackward. Ackward says, and he has clapping emojis in between each of these words. He says, let us tag more characters. Yes, that is the answer, to me at least.
Yeah, it'd be cool. The tag event is pretty awesome. I gotta get memory fragments so I can begin. Hold on one sec.
All right. Well, that's the end of the show, unless you got anything else you want to bring up, Frosty.
Nope. Just we'll be working on the anniversary podcast. It's gonna be in early January. We'll make an announcement once things are set in stone, but we are working on that. Should be fun.
Yep. And hopefully it can live up to last year's, because last year's was pretty hype. I think it might even be better, because now we don't have to kind of bullshit about what we talked about. We have an actual thing that we got to discuss. And I don't know exactly how we're gonna do it, but maybe we'll get some disagreements, maybe some conflict in opinion. I'd be excited to hear some people get into some arguments about who's busted and who's not. Now that's not happening next week, to be clear. That'll be happening
New Year's. I don't know for
soonest.
Sure. Yeah.
At the soonest, it'll be happening the week after next, but that we don't have a date locked in or anything.
Yeah.
So next year. Well, actually, yeah, next year. Next year, we are probably going to do an episode, but also maybe not, because again, it's still holidays with the New Year. It depends on everyone's schedule. I don't think I'm doing anything for New Year's. Who knows with Frosty and Ayashi what they're doing. So it just kind of depends on if we can get together. So Join the Discord. If we're not doing an episode, it'll be announced in the Discord as soon as we're kind of aware of whether we're not going to do it or whatever. And then look forward to the 3-year anniversary. At the soonest, the week after next.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Sounds right to me.
Sounds right to me. Thank you everybody so much for listening. Make sure to check out all of our streams. You can check out Frosty at twitch.tv/SoFrosty. He is the main stream for these podcasts. We record these podcasts and do them live. So check him out. We usually record on Saturdays, although occasionally, like today, we do it on Sunday due to various circumstances. Almost always at 9 a.m. PST. Right, Frosty? Isn't that when we usually start?
Yep, 9 a.m. PST.
And of course, he streams almost every other day because he's a big fancy streamer, man. Mm-hmm. You can check out Nyashi. He's actually playing the game again, which is crazy. Twitch.tv/Nyashi_NA. And then me as well, Twitch.tv/NotReslar. I probably stream the least out of all of us, in all honesty. And yeah, thanks everybody for watching. Shout out to the patrons, and we'll see y'all next week.